Live from Vintage Throne Stadium in Springwater Township, Baycats TV presents the Inter-County Baseball League. Tonight, playoff baseball as the Toronto Maple Leafs come to town to take on the hometown Barrie Baycats. Hi everybody, welcome to the broadcast. Dylan Quinn with me tonight. My name is Ben Davy. We're glad to have you here on YouTube and on Rogers TV. Round one, game one tonight between these two clubs who certainly have a lot of history between them. Most recently, in 2022, it was the Maple Leafs who knocked the Barrie Baycats out of round one of the playoffs. Barrie would go on to win the next 11 consecutive regular season matchups between these two clubs. That streak ended, Dylan, on August 7th when these teams played at Christie Pitts in Toronto.
Yeah, Ben, and tempers flared in the later innings, resulting in a benches-clearing altercation and multiple suspensions on Barrie's side. Tonight, we are in for a must-see matchup between two battle-tested IBL teams. I don't know if you can feel it, but there's a different atmosphere around the ballpark here tonight, and you know what that means. Playoff baseball is just ahead.
Fasten your seatbelts. We could be in for a wild ride in this series between the Maple Leafs and the Baycats. Let's get you caught up on the starting lineups tonight. Here's our public address announcer, Rob Daniels.
Matlow. Batting first, the center fielder, number 9, Canis Ejo. Batting second at shortstop, number 11, Brandon Hernandez. Batting third, the first baseman, number 29, Malik Williams. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 27, Ryan Rio. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 20, Nolan Makibroda. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 55, Hayden Jaco. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 26, Adam Odd. Batting eighth at second base, number 7, Royce Ando. Batting ninth, the right fielder, number 47, Brad McQuinn. And on the mound tonight for your Barrie Baycats, number 97, Frank Garces. Here's who's calling the balls and strikes tonight. We have Preston Hughes behind home plate. And handling third base in regards to umpires, we have Adam DeCare. And at first base, Scott Costello. Fans, can you please rise if you're able to, and kindly remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you.
Two teams with a storied history that dates back to the Baycats' first ever IBL championship against 2005. It came against these Toronto Maple Leafs, who are here tonight to kick off round one, game one of the 2024 IBL postseason. Hello, everybody. Ben Davy, Dylan Quinn with you on a beautiful Thursday night at Vintage Throne Stadium. You mentioned the energy in this ballpark, Dylan. Always exciting when the playoffs begin, but maybe even a little more so when the opponents are Highway 400 rivals, Barrie and Toronto.
Well, absolutely, Ben, and I am so excited to be up here with you in the booth tonight. It's playoff baseball in Barrie, and you mentioned it, I mentioned it. There's definitely an atmosphere at Vintage Throne Stadium tonight, and I think everybody here is ready for first pitch coming up very soon.
Starting lineup for Rob Butler's Toronto Maple Leafs will look as follows. Jose Vinicio, the shortstop, in the familiar leadoff spot. Jordan Castaldo, the former Baycat, bats second at first base. Marcus Connect in right field bats third. The cleanup man, Jonathan Salazzo, he's at third base. Justin Mara, the catcher, bats fifth. Raya Dos Santos in the number 6 spot, he's playing left field. Another former Baycat, Mike Chiquetos, the DH tonight, he bats seventh. Dan Mara, brother of Justin, in the 8th spot. And at second base, the number 9 hitter, center fielder, Connor Lewis. On the mound for Barrie, Frank Garces. Former major leaguer, he knows this Toronto lineup pretty well.
Yeah, Ben, and what can we say that hasn't already been said about Frank Garces? He tossed a 2.35 ERA this postseason in 80 in a third innings. And the Baycats, you have your guy tonight. Frank Garces has been here. He has lots of IBL postseason experience. And there was a little bit of a no question for Josh Matlow as to who he was throwing on the mound tonight.
Garces last pitched against the Maple Leafs in Toronto. That was a 6-1 Baycats win, one of 5 Barrie wins against the Maple Leafs in the 2024 regular season. That game was on July 17th, and he went 7 shutout innings. And as mentioned, knows this lineup up and down, inside out. That can work the other way as well, though, as they know him very well. And we'll get an early look at him here in game one of this series.
Well, the leadoff hitter for the Maple Leafs, Jose Vinicio, is a player who has lots of at-bats and lots of experience against Garces. We will see how that pays off here in the early stages of this ball game.
Home plate umpire, Preston Hughes. It's Scott Costello behind the bag at first, and Adam DeCare handling duties at third. 3-man crew here for this opening game of round one of the playoffs. As the sun is setting to our right, first pitch from Frank Garces is a swing and a miss. We're underway at 7:39 here at Vintage Throne Stadium, Springwater Township.
You mentioned it earlier, Ben, but what a great night. Not too hot, not too cold. Some great weather for the first game of the IBL playoffs.
Line drive, center field, base hit. Vinicio aboard. And Frank Garces has an early base runner to deal with. Let's give you the defense for the Baycats behind Frank Garces.
In left field, Nolan Macabrota. Center field is Kanice Ejo. And in right, it is Brad McQuinn. Rounding out the infield at third is Adam Odd. Shortstop, Brandon Hernandez. At second, Royce Ando. And at first, it's Malik Williams. Catching duties tonight is Hayden Jaco, catching pitches from Frank Garces.
20-degree game time temperature under beautiful sunny skies. Soon to become starry skies, I'm sure. We got a clear sky overhead. Temperature could drop down to the mid-teens by the end of the game. Wind moderate from right to left. Pretty quiet at the moment, but we did have a breeze from right field to left field during BP. Vinicio with the lead, does not go. Pitch just misses. It counts 1-1.
Well, there's a lot of speed over there at first base, as we all know here with Jose Vinicio. We'll see what he does here early on in the ball game.
12 stolen bases, 16 attempts. Does not go, and it's fouled off to the left side.
We know Garces is a pitcher who loves to attack lefties. The Maple Leafs are a team who has a lot of qualified and powerful lefty hitters, as can be seen here with Jordan Castaldo. The real X factor for the Maple Leafs tonight will be attacking and having good at-bats with those lefties against Frank Garces.
Here comes the crowd behind Garces, and they've picked Vinicio off. Here's the throw, the tag. He's out at second base. Brandon Hernandez right on time with a glove, and a great read by the left-hander to pick off Jose Vinicio.
Terrific read from Garces, and for your infielders, no patience from Malik Williams there, making the throw over to second. Just calm and accurate, and that's a great first out of the inning for the Baycats.
Might need to give some credit to the catcher, Hayden Jaco, as well, who might have signaled to Frank that the runner was about to go, and Castaldo now with a 1-2 count fouls off another pitch.
Well, with speed like Vinicio on base and a lefty on the mound, so much easier to be mindful and to pick off those runners as we saw there.
The Maple Leafs historically not a team that has generally been built with depth of as far as speed goes, but Vinicio has certainly added that component. This one to deep center field. Ejo going back, a couple steps in front of the track, makes the catch. 2 down. 2 Maple Leafs with double-digit stolen base totals. Add Dos Santos in there as well with 18 between him and Vinicio. 30 stolen bases this year for Toronto. Certainly give Rob Butler some options through the lineup to try to build on that speed game a little bit. Toronto, a good hitting team, lots of power. They play at Christie Pitts, the most hitter-friendly ballpark in the league. This one to deep left field, and reaching up to make the catch is Nolan Macabrota. Well, that'll do it for Toronto as the Baycats will come to bat in the bottom of the first inning in a scoreless tie here at Vintage Throne Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on ESSA Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Hi, I'm Christy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Moving.ca. For all your moving needs for over 35 years, Moving.ca. The original 2 men who just happen to be small, who make moving stress-free. 2 small men with big hearts moving. We always have a big heart for you at Moving.ca.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just $8.99 each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium for the bottom of the first inning of playoff Baycats baseball. The first inning brought to you by McDonald's Barrie, home of the free fries with 5 Baycat strikeouts.
And Josh Matlow's Baycats line up as follows. Kenny Sejo leading off in center field. Brandon Hernandez and Malik Williams behind him. Ryan Rio, the DH in the cleanup spot. Nolan Macabrota in left field. Batting 5th, Hayden Jaco behind the plate hits 6th. And the bottom third of the order, Adam Odd at third base. Roy Sando at second base, and Brad McQuinn, the number 9 hitter in right field tonight. First offering from Angel Castro is fouled back to the screen.
Angel Castro, the starting pitcher for the Toronto Maple Leafs, tossed a 6.03 ERA in 62 2/3 innings pitched this regular season.
Ejo definitely getting some consideration for MVP candidate in the IBL this year. He lifts this one to deep right field, over near the line, and making the catch is Marcus Connect.
With that, let's give you the defense for the Maple Leafs tonight. In left field, it's Ryan Dos Santos. Center is Connor Lewis, and in right, it's Marcus Connect. At third base, it's Jonathan Salazzo. Shortstop, Jose Vinicio. Second base, Dan Mara, and at first, it's Jordan Castaldo. Catching is Justin Mara, catching pitches from Angel Castro.
Brandon Hernandez, the shortstop. 353 average in 21 games for the Baycats. Joined the club mid-season. And Hel Castro with his first pitch to him. It's high and outside for a ball.
And what a terrific addition Brandon Hernandez was to not only the offensive side, but the defensive side as well. That's a terrific addition from Josh Matlow. He's getting his first IBL postseason at-bat here.
Facing a pretty tough pitcher on Castro. And it's lifted high and foul to the left side. One ball, one strike, one out. Brandon Hernandez waits. Castro with a long look in, rocks into the windup. Here's the pitch, and it's a little flare foul. Left side, foul territory and out of play.
Not a huge swing from Hernandez. He's not going to do too much and doesn't have a lot of motion in his swing, but he makes a lot of contact and a lot of good contact. A 353 average during the regular season.
Fastball high, and the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mentioned the August 7th game, the last matchup between these clubs, a 10-9 Toronto win. They pulled it out in the late innings, snapping an 11-game winning streak that Barrie had over the Leafs dating back to the 2022 playoffs. Underneath it, foul.
Yeah,
Count holds it 2-2.
That was a tough one for the Baycats, Ben. They didn't have too many pitchers who were available to pitch that night. I believe they brought in Brad Grieveson around the 2nd or 3rd inning to go the distance, and it just didn't end up going their way. And as you said, tempers definitely flared later on.
Count now 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Hernandez. So the Baycats winning the previous 5 matchups. Some of them were high scoring, some of them were nail biters. Barrie won a 2-1 game here on July the 4th. On a Thursday night here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Another foul away by Brandon Hernandez.
Yeah, Ben, but if you're the Maple Leafs, that streak is now snapped. There's no 10 games in a row that you've lost now. The slate is fresh, and if we're going based off the postseason, the last 3 games in the postseason between Toronto and Barrie, Toronto has the advantage.
3-2 pitch from Angel Castro on the way. Another foul ball, what an at-bat here by Brandon Hernandez. That last game on August 7th was filled with emotion and an on-field confrontation, resulting in suspensions for both sides. We asked both managers if either team was going to use any of that motivation to kind of leverage themselves here into round 1 of the playoffs. Both said no. They said the books are closed on it. It's a brand new start. A foul tip into the glove, strike 3. Hernandez goes down swinging. So it's 0-0. Everybody is even when the playoffs start, and on the record at least, both managers saying that none of that regular season history is going to carry over here into the round 1 of the playoffs.
And the playoffs really are a different animal. You can feel a different environment here tonight. And for the Baycats, they've had trouble getting off to slow starts for the majority of the regular season. You want to start the postseason fresh tonight and get on the board early, and hopefully that offense will carry it the rest of the way with a good start.
That interview with Josh Matlow, by the way, is on our Baycats social media feeds. So if you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you'll find my 3-minute interview with Josh Matlow there. And I interviewed Maple Leafs manager Rob Butler as well. That's not on the Baycats feed, but you're more than welcome to see that on my own personal page. I'm Ben Davy. Just give me a follow, or you don't even think you need to follow. It's a public post, so you can see my manager with Rob Butler. And that was a great chat. Rob was very candid, very frank about his ball club. Mentioned that they were a little slow out of the gate getting going. I think they dropped their first 4 in a row. Mentioned that this is a veteran ball club, and he had every bit of confidence that they would get the wheels in motion when they needed to. And they came through with a pretty strong second half, certainly enough to pull them up out of the basement and guarantee themselves a spot here in the playoffs. No balls, 2 strikes here to Malik Williams. Fouled off right side.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to that, Ben, because if you're the Baycats, you have the 2nd seed in the IBL. The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be a tough first-round opponent. So much veteran experience, Salazzo, Castaldo, so many others as well. Give me a tough assignment.
Change up, and it's hit in the right field for a base hit. The Baycats get their first base runner of the night. It comes off the bat of Malik Williams.
There This will be Ryan Rio's 6th IBL postseason. He has 8 career postseason home runs. We'll see how many more he can add to that total in this first round matchup against the Maple Leafs.
Plays well against Toronto. Historically, absolutely loves hitting home runs at Christie Pitts. Who doesn't? But has had some clutch hits here in this ballpark against Toronto, including a walk-off win on opening night. Six homers, 13 RBIs through the season. Takes the first pitch. It's high and away, ball 1.
It's a great point, Ben. It does seem like Ryan Rio steps up another gear whenever he matches up against the Maple Leafs. Just seems to hit a lot of long balls and a lot of hard contact. Regardless of how he's hitting the other pitchers, he always seems to have the Maple Leafs number.
High fly ball foul over near the Toronto bullpen. Well, the goal as a player is to establish yourself as a consistent player, especially at the plate. You want to get into that groove where you're really producing start to finish through the season, but in Ryan's case, it didn't quite go that way. He got off to a slow start, finished strong. This one right back to first, and an easy step on the bag for Jordan Castaldo. Rio is retired. Baycats strand a runner. We played 1 scoreless here at Vintage Throne Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV, Rogers TV in Barrie. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May. '24 IBL playoffs are underway, and they begin the way the regular season began, with a game between these two teams here at Vintage Throne Stadium on a Thursday night of all nights of the week. Here we are again, starting off the playoffs between Toronto and Barrie. Dylan Quinn, Ben Davy with you. Ryan Backland spinning the dials behind us. Jonathan Salazzo comes to the plate, scoreless tie, as we head to the top of the second inning.
We mentioned the experience on Toronto's roster. Here's one of their more veteran players in Jonathan Salazzo. 308 average this regular season, also 11 long balls, and another lefty-lefty matchup early on.
Takes the first 2 pitches, and he's ahead in the count, 2-0 against left-hander Frank Garces. Swing and a miss on a fastball.
And Ben, if you're Josh Matlow tonight, you have Frank Garces, who's been here. He has lots of playoff experience. Is there any sort of thought as to Cesar Rosado stepping on the mound for Game 1?
No. Cesar Rosado, I'm told, is scheduled to pitch Game 2 of this series, which is going to be Saturday night at Christie Pitts, and then right back here Sunday afternoon with Juan Benitez. So that's the plan. Those 3 in order, Games 1, 2, and 3. Swing and a miss. Salazzo down on strikes. Strikeout for IMP North, 1 away in the second inning. We had seen those kind of piggyback starts earlier in the season. I believe there was one where Frank came on in relief of Rosado, and there was a little bit of tinkering back and forth with that, but I don't think we're going to see any of that in the playoffs, especially with the Baycats bullpen being as thin as it is right now. Middle relief was not exactly a strength for Barrie in the regular season, and Josh Matlow's going to want to get as many innings out of these big 3 arms as he can.
Well, I completely agree, Ben. And in a lineup or a pitching staff that has, you mentioned it, struggled past the starting rotation at times, they definitely do not struggle with the starting pitcher. Juan Benitez, Frank Garces, Cesar Rosado. You throw in Carlos Sano, who's made a few starts. That is a premier starting three in the IBL postseason.
Yeah, arguably best in the league, and no one questions this Baycats starting staff. All three had ERAs under 2.5 for most of the season. Garces with a 2-1 count here on Justin Mara. It's a called strike, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And with pitchers who have been so consistent and so dominant wearing that Baycats uniform, the only question mark I should say, is how long they can remain in the ball game, eating up so many innings this postseason, as we can imagine.
Just missed, a little off the plate, maybe high too. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Great take by Justin Mara, who gets the call to force the count full. You hear the applause from the crowd, and it's a good one here tonight at Vintage Throne Stadium. They're behind Frank Garces on this 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. It's a pop-up, and it's going to be behind the Toronto dugout. And off the benches. Fans getting out of the way of that one rather than electing to try to make a catch. See a little bit of both here. Sometimes those balls go that way, and you see a glove or a bare hand stick out, but not on that one. Everybody just getting out of the way.
And for Garces, he's not going to find himself in too many 3-ball counts here. Only walked 11 on the regular season, and that was already a high number for him.
Protecting the plate is Mara, as the veteran does. He fouls it back again, 3-2.
Another lefty-lefty matchup. If you're the Maple Leafs, you want to take advantage of those counts and put your righties in a better situation.
Payoff pitch on the way. Inside ball 4. Garces lost him. Second base runner for Toronto. 1 on with 1 out. And here's Ryan Dos Santos.
Well, a very uncharacteristic walk from Frank Garces. It brings up Ryan Dos Santos. A .329 average on the regular season. That was the highest on the Maple Leafs roster.
Well, Frank Garces always has a very low walk total, and this year was no exception. Struck out 81, walked just 11 in 11 starts. Now you're averaging 1 walk per start. That's pretty darn good. But this is a veteran Toronto Ball Club. They know how to work those walks. And that was a great at-bat by Justin Mara. Get the count full. And he didn't chase that inside pitch.
Well,
no balls, 2 strikes here to Dos Santos.
The key for the Maple Leafs will be getting that pitch count up. And if you're anybody on the Maple Leafs roster, you want to get Frank Garces out of the game as quickly as possible.
Mara with the lead, does not go. Pitch, just missed. Looked good. Framed by Hayden Jaco, didn't get the call. 1-2. Preston Hughes not stretching the strike zone at all either way so far. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And he stays alive.
Another good at-bat from Ryan Dos Santos here. But you're a ground ball away here.
Justin Mara, 2 stolen bases last year. Probably not a threat to run in this situation, but they hold him on anyways. Garces with a 1-2, and that is called strike 3. Went down in the zone and froze to Santos, 2 away. A strikeout for IMP North.
Hitter number 3, Mike Chicato.
Mike Chicato, the DH now for the Maple Leafs. 2 strikeouts for Garces. The walk to Mara, still on base at first. And Chicato will bat with 1 on and 2 out here in the second inning. First offering is low.
Chicato only logged 28 at-bats with the Maple Leafs in the regular season, but he was able to do some damage. Almost a .400 average with 11 hits and 1 long ball as well.
Ground ball to short. Easy play for Hernandez to Ando, covering the bag at second to retire Justin Mara on the bases. That will do it for Toronto. They strand a runner And we played an inning and a half and a scoreless tie between Toronto and Barrie. We're watching Rogers TV in Barrie and Baycats TV on YouTube.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. BarrieToday.com. Local news, weather, Baycat scores, and more. BarrieToday.com. Your community, your news.
Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium, the second inning of Baycats baseball, brought to you by JC Unlimited Contracting. Design, supply, build, renovate, servicing Simcoe region for over a decade.
Dylan Quinn, Ben Davy, and Nolan Macabrota coming to the plate, the hot-hitting rookie, bringing a .331 average in the regular season here into round one, game one of the playoffs. His first postseason at bat. A lot of these guys making their first playoff appearance here tonight, and Macabrota is one of them. Had an outstanding year with power, 5 homers, 27 RBIs.
Absolutely, Ben. Also led the team in walks with 22. It's not very often that your first baseman is going to lead the team in walks, but Nolan Macabrota definitely did. A very disciplined hitter.
0-1 pitch, foul back. Led the Baycats in home runs at one point in the season until Ryan Rio got hot. We knew that was going to happen at some point. Rio finished with 6 home runs. Oh, and 2, Angel Castro. Sometimes looks like he's going to rock into the windup and doesn't. A little hesitation. Now he delivers. Swing and a miss. Maybe that little timing adjustment just threw Macabrota off. He whiffed right through it for a strikeout. One away.
A little bit of mind games going on there on the mound results in a strikeout. A player on the Baycats who's not going to strike out very often, however, Hayden Jaco, who struck out 17 times and walked 20. I believe one of only 2 qualified hitters in the IBL who walked more than they struck out.
First pitch on the way to Jaco, and he's swinging, and it's up the middle into center field. A 1-out single for Jaco, and here comes Adam Odd.
Ben, if I told you at the beginning of the season that Adam Odd was going to be hitting in the 7 spot, you would call me crazy. But that's where he finds himself on the opening night for playoff baseball. And for an offense that seemingly has so much power like the Baycats does on paper, they haven't been able to find it in the earlier innings. Moving into the postseason, you get a fresh slate here, all the stats starting back at 0. Do you have a player that you're looking at the Baycats offense saying this could be the guy that is the spark for the team and gets them to really find their groove?
Well, it all starts with the top of the order in Kinesijo, in my opinion, and I mentioned he's definitely an MVP candidate this year. He seems to be the straw that stirs the drink in this Barrie lineup, at least this season. Mentioned Adam Odd's struggles, and it's been kind of a hot and cold season for him. Finished with a 185 average, certainly not what he or anybody would have expected. It was Rio and Odd, arguably two of the Baycats' best hitters last year, that struggled out of the gate here in 2024. And that's a real testament to the rest of this lineup that has executed at the plate so consistently this season. Castro kicks and deals. Odd takes one high.
Well, I would have to agree with you, Ben. Adam Odd has hit over 300 3 times in his IBL career. Now entering his 6th postseason in the IBL. He's never hit over 300 in the playoffs. But if he could get going in the 7th spot tonight, that would be a big addition for the Baycats offense.
Yeah, his defensive versatility has really helped solidify his spot in the lineup as well, despite his struggles at the plate. He's been able to find his way into the lineup when needed. Runner goes, and it's a hit and run fouled off. And Hayden Jaco will go back. Jaco just 3 stolen bases last season. He was off with the pitch there. Odd was unable to put it in play.
3 stolen bases, but a 100% success rate as he never got caught. So picking his spots carefully and a little bit of a hit and run on there with 1 out.
He's not a slow runner. Catchers are rarely the speedster in your lineup, and Jaco isn't that, but he's not a slow runner either. Takes the lead, does not go. Pitch outside. 3 balls and a strike to Adam Odd.
Very productive at-bat here for Adam Odd, getting his first look at Angel Castro.
One reason Jaco is not a slow runner is his phenomenally intense conditioning regime. Very disciplined with his workouts, does a lot of CrossFit, trains rigorously 12 months a year. 3-1 on the way from Castro, and it's a base hit into right center field. Jaco stays at second. 2 on for Barrie now with 1 away.
Well, we talked about the slow starts and how the Baycats needed to get going early. A very key at-bat already in the 2nd inning for Royce Ando, who has been an on-base machine, but much like Ryan Rio, much like Adam Odd, batting under 200 in the regular season, albeit in only 31 at-bats. But if you're Royce Ando, you really want to get on base here and maybe cash in the first runner of the ballgame.
Yeah, if Royce was in the lineup every day, you know those numbers would be a lot higher, no question. Only 8 games for the Baycats this season, so limited availability has sort of worked against him as far as building some momentum and developing some consistency. But veteran ball player, one of the best defensively. By getting him in there at second base, that gives Josh Matlow some other options defensively as well. He'll bat here with 2 runners on. 1 out in the inning. Castro checks the runner twice. Kicks, deals. Pitch is low.
Yeah, just a solid player Royce Ando has been for the Baycats. Solid defensively, not a lot of holes in his game, and he's been able to get on base seemingly at will for the majority of his Baycats tenure.
Early in the game, but this might be a spot where he could drop down a bunt. Let's see. 1-0 the count. He does not square. He drives it to center field. Over the glove of Vinicio. That's a base hit. Rounding third is Hayden Jaco. Here comes the throw. It's offline. 1-0 Baycats.
Looked like a broken bat single there from Royce Ando, cashing in a huge first runner of the ball game. Still 2 runners on, 1 out for Brad McQuinn.
The base runners had to be careful because that's a ball Jose Vinicio can get to, and we've seen him make catches like that in the past. It wasn't that far beyond him, but it was just out of his reach, and as soon as that ball touched green, Jaco and Odd were off. Odd could only get as far as second. But Hayden Jaco coming around to score the game's first run. It's 1-0 Barrie. This is Brad McQuinn. And he drives one to center field. And the catch is made by the center fielder.
Well, Odd stumbled on his first few steps running to second base. Otherwise, he may have been able to advance to third. Regardless, it's Kenise Ijo with 2 outs here. Kenise, a .363 regular season average. That would be good for the 3rd best average across the IBL.
That ball was hit hard enough that if it was a little bit further away from straightaway center field where Connor Lewis was playing, it could have been extra bases. Could have brought in a couple of runs, but Baycats making some pretty good contact here off Angel Castro.
Good contact and early in the count. They're not seeing too many pitches. They're finding their pitch right away and doing damage with it.
Challenge for Castro now is to try to get off the field here with minimal damage. Only one Barrie run so far. Despite stringing together 3 hits. 3 straight hits, Jaco, Odd, and Ando. Ando bringing home the game's first run. And the batter steps out. As time is called, Ejo uses his 1 disengagement, and now he's ready. Castro to the belt. Checks the runner. Kicks, deals. Outside. 2-0 the count, Kenise Ejo.
Kenise, this will be his 4th IBL postseason. Batted .363 in the regular season. However, in his 3 previous postseason experiences, only batting .246.
Two balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch from Castro. Ball 3. Talked to Josh Matlow a little earlier this week about that exact subject, the transformation of Kenise Ejo into the player that he is here in 2024. Improving his batting average by almost 100 points. That's not insignificant. He's become more of a hitter, developed some power at the plate, and still aggressive on the bases. Not the astronomical stolen base totals he had last year, but in the leadoff spot, he's been able to be a threat as always. 3-0 pitch from Castro. He's taking all the way. It's a called strike.
With Kenise Ejo, you truly have a 5-tool player, and you mentioned him as your spark plug for the Baycats offense, and I'd have to agree. Right there in the leadoff spot, he really sets the tone every time he crawls into the right side of the batter's box, and another big opportunity for him here with a 3-1 count and 2 runners on.
Let's see if he gets the green light here on the 3-1. Runners lead. Here's the pitch from Castro. It's inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Great opportunity here for Barrie as a mound visit now. Pitching coach for Toronto comes out, along with the catcher, Justin Mara, to settle down Angel Castro here a little bit.
Well, we have a break here. I was taking a look down the left and right field lines, and I was really taking it all in, Ben. This is the playoffs, the atmosphere, the moment right here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Even though it's early on in the ball game, you can feel it. This isn't some regular, ordinary game. This is the first round of the IBL playoffs, and a huge moment here with Brandon Hernandez getting some bases loaded, 2 outs, cuts in the box, and when we're looking back on this game in the 7th, 8th inning, we could be looking back at this at-bat right here and saying this is where the Baycats pulled ahead, or this is where the Baycats came up short.
Great energy here so far tonight, and you can expect more of the same Saturday night at Christie Pitts in Toronto. You know those fans are going to show up, and some of the most passionate and loudest fans in the IBL at Christie Pitts. And as the playoffs go deeper and deeper, the crowds grow, and the energy dials up a notch as well. So here's Hernandez to face Castro with the bases loaded. First pitch swinging. It's a foul ball.
That ball hit off the light pole over behind the fans and bounced back onto the field of play, almost hitting third base coach over there for the Baycats.
I did not notice that. I took my eye off of it as soon as it left, and I heard the crowd gasp. Now I know why. That must have been a pretty square ricochet. Certainly don't see that often, if ever. 0-1 pitch from Castro. Foul back again.
Seeing a lot more foul balls from Hernandez again in his second at-bat of the night. Mentioned how disciplined a hitter he is. Not going to strike out very often. Always make solid contact. Going to need to do that here again and put it in play with 2 outs in the inning.
Castro needs a third strike here. 2 away in the inning. Bases loaded. Here's the pitch. High. Hernandez does not chase. Mara reaching up to snare that. Everybody stays put on the bases. Odd at third, Ando at second, Ejo at first. Nowhere to put Brandon Hernandez. 2 out in the inning. Castro nods. Takes a deep breath. Rocks into the windup. 1-2. Fouled again.
We mentioned the strikeout ability of Frank Garces with his 81 strikeouts. Angel Castro notched 71 himself, so a very qualified pitcher with a lot of strikeout potential here. Good at bat from Brandon Hernandez to keep it going.
71 strikeouts, just 16 walks as well. Another foul ball. We've seen more foul balls here in 2 innings than we usually see in 9. And another handful of baseballs for the home plate umpire tonight, Preston Hughes.
Yeah, and with where Hernandez is hitting them, these young Baycats fans are not too happy as they're going out of the field of play. Usually the Baycats fans are running all over the place trying to get those balls and cash them in for 5 Baycats bucks.
Here's the pitch, on the ground, through into left field. That'll bring home a pair of runs. No throw. In to score, Adamad and Roy Sando to make it a 3-0 Barrie lead.
Just an absolutely terrific at-bat from Hernandez. Saw so many pitches and finally put one in play over there to shortstop. Put it right between the third baseman and the shortstop, and a diving Vinicio couldn't come up with it. It'll score 2 when the Baycats are up 3-0 here in the second.
Malik Williams will be the 8th Baycat to bat in this inning. And that's really running up Angel Castro's pitch count. Boy, if you're the Baycats, you'd love to knock Castro out of this game early. Runners go, and the pitch is driven to right field, and it'll drop for a base hit. And the score comes Canisi Joe. All the way to third is Brandon Hernandez. Malik Williams drives in a run to make it 4-0 Baycats.
Well, that double steal worked to perfection for Canis Ejo and Brandon Hernandez. A bloop single over to right field, scored Ejo and almost scored Hernandez. He makes it all the way to third base. It's a little bit of a 2-out rally here, and it's not over. Ryan Rio, bases on the runners on the corners, and 2 outs in the second inning.
Absolutely love that decision by Josh Matlow to send the runners right on the first pitch. You got your 2 fastest guys on the bases, Ejo and Hernandez. 2 outs in the inning, so even if that fly ball is caught, it doesn't matter. Malik Williams putting it in play, and it brings home another run. Ryan Rio will try to keep it going now. Castro deals. Swing and a miss by Rio.
Well, that was a prototypical hit and run situation. Now with the prototypical Maple Leafs killer here, Ryan Rio. We'll see what he's got in store with 2 outs in the inning.
Pitch from Castro. Hit to left field. Foul ball. No balls, 2 strikes, and Castro again a strike away from finishing off this inning. He was unable to do so. 2 strike counts earlier in this inning. That elusive third strike here. Rio digs in. Waits for the 0-2. And it's a line drive to right center field for a base hit. Another run is in. All the way to third goes Malik Williams. And the Baycats turning it on here. 5-0 here in the bottom of the second inning.
Ben, we had spoke earlier to the importance of the Baycats starting early and getting runners on base and runners on the board. If you're Josh Matlow and everybody in that Baycats dugout, Frank Garces included, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. A fantastic start for everybody wearing a Baycats uniform. And if you're Nolan McAlberty, you want to keep that train going.
First pitch swinging, and it's laced foul. Right down the first base line. Well, I asked Josh Matlow before the game, what are some areas of concern that you would really like to see this ball club take it to the next level in the postseason? And first thing Josh said was an early lead would be nice. This team has been playing come from behind baseball a lot this year. Well, how about a 5-0 lead in the second inning against Angel Castro?
Well, absolutely. And for a Baycats lineup, when you look at a lineup sheet, you're like, wow, this team can do some damage. But if you're just watching the first 3 or 4 innings of Baycats TV, you'd be surprised at how many zeros were put up, which is very uncharacteristic. They're getting on the right track tonight for sure.
Another foul ball to the left side, 0-2. Castro again, trying to get the third strike.
He's been very good at putting 2 strikes on the board. He's just got to work that work his abilities and get it past the bats. So many foul balls hit down the left field line tonight.
Swing and a miss. So Nolan Macabrota strikes out for the second time tonight, and that will do it for the Baycat rally. And they tack up 5 in the bottom of the second. 5-0 Baycats as we head to the top of the third. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
Moving.ca. For all your moving needs for over 35 years, Moving.ca. The original 2 men who just happen to be small, who make moving stress-free. 2 small men with big hearts moving. We always have a big heart for you at Moving.ca. The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield. The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room, and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats! From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium. It's playoff Baycats baseball in the third inning, brought to you by Render 3D Quick, the #1 architectural 3D rendering company in Canada, working with thousands of builders, developers, architects, and more.
So this Toronto lineup will get to work against left-hander Frank Garces. Just 1 hit off of him so far through 2 innings. It's the bottom of the order to start it off. Veteran second baseman Dan Mara, Connor Lewis, the center fielder to follow, and then shortstop Jose Vinicio back at the top of the order for the Maple Leafs. 5-0 Barrie, 7 hits so far for the Baycats against Angel Castro. It's a called strike to Dan Mara to start things off. Garces working quickly here after a long stretch of rest in the Baycat dugout. That one's fouled back to the screen.
Well, Frank Garces was sitting in that Baycats dugout for a long time last inning with how long the Baycats were up to the plate. You want to bounce back and get the first batter out here. Get yourself warm and back into the groove. It's not always the best thing when you're sitting for a long time as a starting pitcher.
Fly ball, left field. Macabrota sees it, and he's got it 1 away. Let's take a look at the other series around the IBL. There are 3 other playoff series going on in addition to this one. One of them tonight in Welland. There you see the brackets. Kitchener at Welland. That one's underway as we speak. And then tomorrow, the other 2 series get rolling.
Well, I know a lot of fans were eagerly awaiting the postseason schedule. So the Baycats fans had to wait a long time until we finally found out we were playing Toronto. And there, the rest of the matchups there between Kitchener and Welland, it is 0-0. And that is the only other IBL playoff matchup happening tonight.
Yeah, it really came down to the wire between London and Guelph, and both teams had several games that they had to squeeze in beyond the conclusion of the regular season, which was on Sunday. There were a couple of weekday games that London had to play, and that was all to determine the positioning 3-4 in the standings. The 4 through 8, or the 5 through 8 had been determined, but those games had to be played to figure out what the playoff seedings were going to be, and thus the first round matchups.
Well, it was also a question mark as to who the Baycats were going to get between the Hamilton Cardinals and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, we know the result, but Baycats found out not very long in advance.
Pop up off of the mask, Jaco, and it is going to be just out of his reach. And a bouncer off the bench, and a souvenir for a fan.
And for the Baycats, if you were deciding who you wanted to play, not sure you would necessarily pick either team, but for the Maple Leafs finishing 7 in the regular season, they have so many veterans, so many pesky guys who can get on base and do some damage. It's not your prototypical 2-7 matchup. This is going to be a very competitive matchup between two teams who have so much experience, as we've talked about. And I think for a lot of people, this series could be a lot closer than the average IBL fan would imagine.
Anybody can beat anybody in the Intercounty Baseball League. We've seen plenty of upsets. This one fouled off to the right side, and losing sight of it was Malik Williams. He just got out of the way. It was well out of range of where he was anyways. The only one who might have had a chance was Brad McQuinn, but he wasn't there in nearly enough time. A foul ball, a 2-2 count.
And for the Baycats, who were terrific at home and just above average on the road, you mentioned how much of a home field advantage you have at Christie Pitts. Important to snag one on the road tonight.
Fly ball, left field, and it'll drop. I think the left fielder, Nolan Macabrota, just completely lost sight of that because he froze and didn't get a read on it at all, I don't think. And ended up dropping between him and Canisijo.
Nolan Macabrota has had a few of those plays happen to him in left field this season, seemingly losing it in the lights and letting that one drop in front of him. Nonetheless, it's a runner on first and 1 out here in the top of the third inning.
Well, the injury to Noel McGarry-Doyle certainly didn't create a crisis, but there was a need for somebody to step into that extra outfield position, and the versatility of some of these guys, Nolan Macabrota, Noah Hull, or other guys that were kind of in and out of left field there. Brad McQuinn has had more time than maybe expected this season because of the injury to McGarry-Doyle. And he is done for the year.
That really was a tough blow for McGarry-Doyle and the rest of the Baycats staff, and you would really love to have him out there in right field tonight. Nonetheless, you have a very qualified and very capable lineup here tonight.
Jose Vinicio strikes out. It's brought to you by IMP North, 2 out in the inning.
First baseman number 5, Jordan Castaldo.
So it's been a little bit of an on-call basis for some of these positions defensively for the Baycats. Left field, right field, third base, even second base. Canisijo, the everyday center fielder, and Brandon Hernandez has settled in as the everyday shortstop. Other than that, the guys are getting their share of playing time, but it could be one of several different places on the field. Hayden Jaco handling catching duties tonight, but he's played other spots defensively as well.
We also mentioned Royce Ando, who has not been in the lineup very often this summer, finding his way there to second base tonight. A huge addition to have him back in the field and back at the dish.
The situation with Royce Ando pretty much is when he is here, he will play. And he's available now for the postseason.
You're absolutely right, Ben. And we saw in the first inning, in the second inning, getting right back on track. Had a few RBIs for himself and contributed to that 2-out rally in the previous inning.
Jordan Castaldo waits for the 1-1, and then he fouls it back. Whenever Jordan Castaldo returns to Barrie, there are always ripples of mixed response from the crowd. Some applause, some boos, because he's wearing the arch rival uniform now, but he certainly made his mark here as a Baycat for many years. Has some championship hardware to prove it. Called strike 3. He's frozen. Frank Garces and the Baycats get off the mound. That strikeout for IMP North. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Frank Garces. The Leafs strand a runner in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the inning. Barrie on top, 5-0. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just $8.99 each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Baycats comfortably on top 5-0 as we take a look again at the playoff brackets and the seedings. Welland Jackfish, the IBL pennant winners for 2024, play Kitchener tonight, Hamilton and London tomorrow, Chatham-Kent Barnstormers in their inaugural season making the playoffs. How about that story? And they will face the Guelph Royals on the road tomorrow.
Yeah, you had a chance to go all the way out there to Chatham-Kent this regular season. I'm very eagerly awaiting my chance to make it out there next year. But how was that experience making it all the way out there and seeing that ballpark?
It is fantastic. They have a solid core group of season ticket holders, and so many season ticket holders, they've actually got their names right on their seats. It's amazing. This one blooped to the second baseman, barehand throw, and it's in time for the out. What a job by Dan Mara on the throw. Charging in from second base, one away.
Well, that was a terrific play over there at second to get a Hayden Jaco who has sneaky speed we mentioned earlier. And you mentioned the Chatham-Kent terrific fans. I'm getting word that they just drew under 20K total fans for the season.
Pretty amazing. Dom Donnell and the whole organization there have really built something special there in the community of Chatham, and Fergie Jenkins Field, all the history involved there, and definitely a treat. If you can get down there and watch a ball game, you won't be disappointed. Hit weakly to first baseman Jordan Castaldo, picks it up, makes the tag, 2 down.
Checking the out-of-town scoreboard tonight in the IBL, only one of the game. It's Welland and Kitchener. Welland leads 1-0 in the 5th inning.
That one underway at Welland Stadium. So the Brantford Red Sox missing the playoffs for the first time in a long time. First time that we've ever had a team eliminated from playoff contention in the Intercounty Baseball League, with 9 teams now in the league. One team gets squeezed out, and it was Brantford this season, and they had a pretty good first half. Were able to stay out of last place and kind of get towards the middle of the pack a few weeks into the season, but the bottom just fell out and not nearly enough depth to win with consistency to hang in there. It did come right down to the last couple of games, though, between them and Kitchener.
Well, that's what you're going to get in a league that has 9 teams. One team is going to be left out, and although it is a very tough blow for Brantford, I did notice that it added a little bit of competitiveness to the last few games of the year. I know Toronto fans were very intently watching their last few games, trying to make the postseason.
Absolutely. This one to short. Vinicio spins, can't make the throw. Gloved it cleanly, and then it squirted away. I'm not sure if a good throw would have got him or not. Here comes Brad McQuinn to the plate. Let's go to Julius Hearn now, who is our third man here in the broadcast booth tonight. Hello, Julius.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having me, guys. Brad McQuinn, you probably wouldn't expect to see a guy like this start in that number 9 spot, especially game 1 in the playoffs, but he actually has one little turning point to his season that's kind of made his year all that much better. It was come on July 22nd, where he actually got a brand new pair of sport goggles that have really helped him both at the plate and defensively. Before that date, before July 22nd, he hit just 175. That's 7 for 40, but since then, he's 6 for 16.
Well, that's very interesting, and it certainly sounds like it's made a world of difference for Brad at the plate. And as we mentioned earlier, with the injury to Noel McGarry-Doyle opening up more outfield time, playing time for McQuinn, he's certainly been a beneficiary of that.
Well, Brad and I have joked many times this season, asking him if he can see or not, whether he's wearing his glasses. He told me today that he can see because he has worn his glasses today. Not only did that help him, Julius, but he also made a mid-season adjustment to his swing, opted for a little bit of a different leg kick, and that also has contributed to a much better second half of the year.
Bounces up to the plate, and it gets away from Justin Mara. So up another 90 feet goes Royce Ando.
It's a much more open swing, a lot more possibilities, and he's not getting too late or too early on the ball. And for him, he's said that that has helped him in addition to those sports glasses. What's better, being able to swing or being able to see? I'll let you be the beneficiary or the decider of that, Ben. Would you rather be able to see very well or swing very well?
It's like asking me would I rather have my left hand or my right hand. Both are important. Swing and a miss there by McQuinn. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, I mean, the limited amount of recreational baseball that I have played, I found that wearing glasses, they steam up so quick when you're out there and you're breathing heavy, and especially if it's humid, having good quality eyewear, if you need it, certainly is important. I switched over to contact lenses a couple of years ago, and that certainly made a world of difference. Lifted foul left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You've never had to wear glasses, have you?
I haven't, but I know that Brad doesn't struggle with the fogging as he uses defoggers, and he will not be having any trouble with that tonight, so don't have to worry about that for Brad McQuinn.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch from Castro. It's a roller to short. Vinicio dives, gloves it, has no play. And staying on the bag is Ando. He had to be careful because Vinicio actually made a throw. Ando keeps his foot on the bag. Runners on the corners here for the Baycats. It's an infield hit for Brad McQuinn.
Well, here's your spark plug, Ben. It's Kenise Ejo, and with 2 outs and runners on the corners, another huge at-bat that would add some much-needed insurance runs for the Baycats.
Castro wants to do baseball. Home plate umpire Preston Hughes will put that in his satchel for later.
You're coming off of an inning where the Baycats knocked together 5 2-out hits, and you're here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, 2 outs again, and runners on base. If you're Angel Castro on the mound, you want to limit the damage and get out of this inning right now.
That one hit Ejo. Bases loaded for the Baycats with 2 away.
Shortstop number 11, Brandon.
Brandon Hernandez drove in 2 with an RBI.
Well, Brandon Hernandez last at-bat came just an inning ago, also with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He was able to drive in 2 runs with a single. Let's see what he has in store here.
Nowhere to put him. 2 outs in the inning. Again, another bases loaded situation. And first pitch swinging is Hernandez. He fouls it away. We've seen Castro ask for a new baseball a couple of times so far in this game tonight, and had a couple of foul balls now, so there's a good chance he's gotten that same baseball back. Another foul ball, and will it be playable? No. It's behind the seats and out of play. I've often wondered how often a pitcher asks for a new ball and ends up getting that ball back eventually at some point in the inning anyways, and whether or not they realize it.
Well, sometimes it's more of a mindset than the baseball is actually the one that's hurting you. And for Brandon Hernandez, a lot of those balls have been sent to the exact same spot. I'd love to have a stat on how many balls Brandon Hernandez has fouled off behind the seats in left field, because on back-to-back pitches there, he managed to do it both times.
This one to center field, hit hard. It will drop and go all the way to the wall. That will clear the bases. 3 more RBIs for Brandon Hernandez.
We are
Baycats up 8-0.
We are in the 3rd inning, and Brandon Hernandez already has 2 bases loaded hits, 1 a single, now a double, and that is his 5th RBI of the night.
Plenty of speed on the bases with Ando, McQuinn, and Ejo all coming around to score. It is an 8-0 Baycat lead. And now it is time for Malik Williams third at bat of the game already for him. And how about Brandon Hernandez coming through? This is a fly ball. Should be playable, and it is. The catch is made by the right fielder, Marcus Connect. But not before the Baycats score 3 more and make it an 8-0 ball game through 3 innings. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
Fourth inning we go here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Ben Davy, Dylan Quinn, Julius Hearn. And the Toronto Maple Leafs with some work to do. Plenty of baseball left to go here tonight. But they face an uphill climb already, down by 8 against the Barrie Baycats here in this playoff series opener.
Well, Ben, I know I've given out a lot of stats already on the broadcast, but how about this one? Brandon Hernandez, in his last 16 at-bats, was 0 for 16 heading into tonight with 7 Ks as well. Definitely a tale of 2 stories tonight, as he's driven in 5 runners on a bases-loaded single and a bases-loaded double.
Well, he had 14 RBIs all season, so he has surpassed a third of that in 2 at-bats in this game here this evening. Drove in 2 in the second, drove in 3 in the third. What a night so far for Brandon Hernandez. Frank Garces deals as a swing and a miss. Strikeout for IMP North to get Marcus Connect 1 out in the 4th.
And before that 0 for 16 stretch, Ben, he had a 10-game hit streak. Lots of fans will remember his 5 for 5 game here at Vintage Throne Stadium earlier in the year. So a little bit of inconsistencies for Brandon Hernandez, but he's been a very good hitter, and he's coming through at the right times here in the first game of the playoffs.
Swing and a miss. Salazzo behind 0-1. And according to my scorebook, 5th strikeout for Garces tonight. So that will give all these fans some French fries on the ride home tonight from McDonald's.
Usually I'm right on top of that free fries, always shouting it out on the broadcast, but we're already in the 3rd inning, and he's already hit it. I was not prepared for this, but
well, we don't have free fries for the viewers, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not as important on the broadcast as it is for the fans here at the ballpark. But still, it's good for them to know if they come to the game. And they appeal at 3rd. He did not go. So the at-bat will continue 1-2 to Jonathan Salazzo.
Well, we needed a good performance from Frank Garces tonight, and Baycats fans are getting it. Here in the 4th inning, you've liked what you're seeing if you're manager Josh Matlow.
Frank Garces with a 1-2 pitch. Miss tying away. At the letters, but just a little off the plate, I think. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Eight nothing Baycats were in the 4th. Pitch from Garces. And slow it in. Count is full.
Another patient at bat here from Salazzo, works the count full.
The Leafs have had some good at-bats with 2 strikes tonight. Let's see if Salazzo can put one in play. Frank deals. Swung on and missed. A strikeout for IMP North.
Well, there's strikeout number 6. Garces working up the K's tonight. And if you're the Maple Leafs, I know it's the 4th inning. I know you're down 8-0, but you are not out of this ball game. But the comeback has to start now. Working the pitch count up, getting good at-bats like Salazzo did there. Because once Garces takes his final walk back to the dugout, anything is possible. We've seen the Baycats struggle in the later innings as well. And if you're the Maple Leafs, you have a tough task ahead of you, but anything is possible, and you have to start now.
Well, if you follow the IBL, you know that Toronto is never out of any ball game. Now, they certainly play better coming from behind at home. Power hitting team at Christie Pitts. Balls fly out of that ballpark. Very short fence all the way around, and perfect ballpark for an offensively built team like Toronto. But even on the road, they can be dangerous.
Well, in their most recent matchup, we've talked a lot about that game tonight, they were down, and they came back, and then the Baycats came back, and then finally the Maple Leafs put the dagger in the chest and walked it off on a walk in extra innings.
3 balls, 1 strike to Justin Mara. Garces deals. And it's low or inside. Not sure which. It is a base on balls, I can tell you that, and Mara is aboard.
The left fielder, number 8.
So that breaks the streak of 4 straight strikeouts for Frank Garces. He got Vinicio and Castaldo to end the 3rd, and Connect and Salazzo to start the 4th. And here comes Ryan DeSantos.
And already the 2nd walk of the night for Frank Garces. Very, very uncharacteristic for him on the mound.
These teams will enjoy a day off tomorrow, and then the series resumes Saturday night at Christie Pitts in Toronto. Always a good contingent of Baycat fans making the trip down the 400, and we've got Maple Leaf fans here tonight as well. Family members, friends, fans made the trip up the 400 from Toronto to watch the Leafs here tonight. One pitch is fouled off. Thomas West, Gus Cousins, and company will have that broadcast for us on the Maple Leafs IBL channel on YouTube.
Well, we know the Leafs are going to pack the house in their next matchup for game number 2. Very hostile environment if you're going to be the Baycats and any opposing team. It's very important if you're the Cats to steal one or to take one on at home tonight.
Checked his swing, he held off, and it's a 2-2 count. One nice thing about the Toronto Barrie series, you get the same dugout at both ballparks. Baycats get the first base dugout there as well. That's the visitors' dugout at Christie Pitts, and it's the home dugout here. So that continuity, I don't know if that's a thing or not, but 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Frank Garces, 3 strikeouts and a walk. Give him 7 on the ball game. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Barrie still up by 8 on Rogers TV and Baycats TV YouTube.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Welcome back to Baycats Baseball. The fourth inning brought to you by Clarkson Bins and Junk Removal, the local source for simple, clean, and reliable disposal bin rental and junk removal services. We're here in the fourth inning. We're going to send it over to our sideline reporter, Julius Hearn.
Thanks, Dylan. This guy at the plate, Ryan Rio. Remember the last time the Baycats played the Maple Leafs in the playoffs? That was 2022. And this guy, despite his best efforts, the Baycats were swept in that series. But Ryan Rio's efforts in that series should not go unrecognized. 4 for 12 with 3 home runs and 5 RBI.
He'll face Angel Castro here for the third time tonight. 1 for 2 on the evening.
Ben and I had talked a little bit about that earlier, Julius. And for Ryan Rio, despite his struggles this season, he really has been the Toronto Maple Leafs killer. He's had their number every single time he stepped into the batter's box. Even in their most recent meeting, he had a few RBIs and a long ball, as he's looking to get going here.
Well, Dylan, you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast how when you get to game 1 of the playoffs, it's really a clean slate, and having been around the guys for the last few months of this season, they know that when it's playoff time, that's when it really counts.
He likes playing in Toronto, too. I talked to him about that, and he's well aware. All these players are well aware of the lively crowd at Christie Pitts in Toronto. Some of the most passionate fans in the IBL, and they can be creative when visitors come to the plate sometimes with the chants and the things that get hollered out. And Rio says he loved it. He thrives off of it. And sometimes visiting players use that as a bit of a motivational force. That one glanced off the top of the Baycat dugout.
Well, he has 8 career postseason IBL home runs, the most on the Baycats' active roster. And we'll see how many more he can add against the Maple Leafs in the first round.
Joined the Baycats as a rookie in the previous era before the pandemic, 2019. Got a championship ring his first season here with the Baycats. 3-2 pitch. It's a high fly ball, deep to left field. It'll stay in the park, and the catch is made by Ryan DeSantos. Not a home run swing, but that ball sure went a long way. And Nolan Macabrota will bat with 1 out.
It was a little bit late on the breaking ball. If he had maybe started that leg kick a few milliseconds later, he might have been able to send that ball a long way. But Nolan Macabrota, another power hitter, will get another chance here.
Mentioned the series resumes Saturday night in Toronto, 7:30 at Christie Pitts. Love to see a good contingency of Baycat fans down there for that. We are back here at home on Sunday afternoon, so plan your weekend accordingly. It is a 3:05 game. And spread the word that we've got Game 3 of the series here. Game 5, if necessary, would be here as well. That would be on Thursday next week. So Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. I know it's that time of year where our fans are paying really close attention to their schedules and the website to stay on top of all of the playoff scheduling. Really impressive crowd here for the series opener. This one hit a long way to left center field. It's high, it's deep, and it's gone! Holy Macabrota! Nolan with a solo shot to left center. Barrie up 9-0.
They're not done yet. The Baycats keep pouring it on. 9-0, and Ryan Rio's ready with the chain there as he's going to make his way into the dugout.
Catcher number 55, Hayden Jacob.
An offensive explosion by the Baycats here tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs in this series opener. But the first home run of the ball game and the series comes off the bat of left fielder Nolan Macabrota, the rookie.
You can see there the tremendous power from the first-year IBL rookie. Didn't even look like he swung very hard, Ben, and it's hard to hit it out to left center field at Vintage Stone Stadium, but that one just making it over the fence, and it'll be a solo shot for Macabrota.
We don't see too many home runs to the gaps in this ballpark, and we see almost no home runs to dead center field. So you're right, that's an impressive home run to a deep part of the ballpark.
And to opposite field, no less.
It's 325 down the lines here at Vintage Throne Stadium, and most of the home runs we see are over the scoreboard and right or between the light pole and the foul pole in left field. No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch from Castro. It's in the dirt. Hayden Jaco tonight, 1 for 2. You know this Baycat lineup is not going to take their foot off the gas against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but certainly you hope that they can keep this offensive attack going throughout this first-round series.
Well, this has been exactly what you needed if you're Josh Matlow and if you're everybody in that Baycats order. You needed to start early, you needed to put runners on the board, and you needed to put Toronto in a situation where they had to be the ones to make a late inning comeback, and you've done exactly that and more if you're everybody part of that Baycats 2-out rally and the home run there from Nolan Macabrota.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Angel Castro with the pitch. And it's low. 3-2. Maple Leafs have not won a game in this park since 2022. I'll take that into consideration as well. They've come close. Baycats have had some late inning, close score, walk-off wins. A couple of blowouts as well. Tonight shaping up to be one of those. Ball 4. Castro missed by not much, and a long look in to home plate umpire Preston Hughes. He was staring him down as Jaco sprinted to first base.
Number 26, Adam.
For Angel
If Castro is not going to get those calls, it's going to be a long night. It already is a long night for him.
Absolutely, and for Castro, a 6 ERA on the season. He's the game 1 starter for the Maple Leafs, but he hasn't gotten the offensive help whenever he's stepped onto the mound. A 2-6 record over the course of the regular season.
This one hit deep and hard to right center field. It'll bounce against the wall. Extra bases for Adamad. They're going to send home Hayden Jaco. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. RBI double for Adamad. Everybody getting in on the attack tonight. Double digits for the Baycats now. It's a 10-0 lead.
Ben, we can talk about a spark plug as much as we want, but when there's this many hitters in the Baycats lineup, all contributing to the same cause, it's going to be a tough assignment for any pitcher who steps on the rubber. If the Baycats can keep this momentum going, look out for the rest of the IBL as they make their way towards the pennant.
Catcher Justin Mara out for a mound visit. Toronto bullpen quiet at the moment. There are bodies down there. Nobody throwing currently.
Oftentimes in the playoffs, when you're down by double digits, you don't want to burn a lot of those arms that will be used later on in crucial moments. You don't necessarily want to burn a game, but you don't want to throw your closer in a 10-0 ball game that his efforts may be all for naught.
Yeah, conversely, the Baycats would love to get Castro out of this game as early as possible, get into that Toronto bullpen a little bit, and get a good look at some of those arms as well early in the series. That's never a bad thing.
As well as perhaps giving Frank Garces a little bit of a rest. If you could maybe not stretch him to go 7 or 8, as he's done so many times, if you can trust your bullpen with a large lead on the scoreboard, that would help them out majorly as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. The bigger the lead, the longer that they can leave Frank Garces out there. And Carlos Sano not available tonight, still serving his suspension. Sano has kind of settled into the closer role on this club as an 8th and 9th inning guy, but they won't need him tonight with a score like this.
And speaking to that, Ben, I think that was a fantastic mid-season adjustment to move Carlos Sano to a primarily bullpen role. He hadn't found his groove as a starter, had shown good stuff but just couldn't get it done. But in the bullpen, he's been lights out, and I think making those adjustments is just what a pitcher needs sometimes.
Yeah, and he wanted it too. And a lot of times players may or may not be happy with an adjustment like that to their role on a ball club. But Carlos really wanted that ball in the late innings, and Josh Matlow gave him every opportunity to step in and take the torch. Called strike. Roy Sando didn't think so. He was on his way to first base.
I've talked about it extensively already, but Roy Sando's batting 8th tonight. If I would have told you at the beginning of the season that Roy Sando would be your 8-hitter, you would have called me crazy. But that just goes to show how deep this lineup truly is.
Well, a lot of it, too, has been just limited availability. We haven't had Royce in the lineup every day, so certainly happy to have him in here now in the playoffs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Castro checks the runner, kicks, deals. And it's lifted foul to the right side. Boy, they are barreling up on him. A lot of foul balls here, but
a lot of foul balls indeed. Castro, to his credit, has actually done a terrific job getting to 2-strike counts. The struggle for him has been getting that 3rd strike, as the Baycats have done a terrific job themselves at making foul balls and staying alive in counts and finally finding their pitch to put it in play.
Now, when you're a strikeout pitcher, that can put a lot of pressure on that arm to get that 3rd strike, and Baycats have been hitting the ball hard off him tonight. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Still only 1 out in the inning. Anamod at second base. Drove in Hayden Jaco with the game's 10th run. Pitch from Castro. Breaking ball, just missed. Ball 4. 2 on for Barrie. And that'll bring Toronto manager Rob Butler to the mound. And let's see if he takes the baseball from his right-handed starter. He does, and we have a pitching change, our first of the night. Toronto goes to the bullpen, trailing by 10 here in the top of the 4th inning. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie. Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium. We are in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Barrie Baycats comfortably on top 10-0. They will face their second pitcher of the night. On to pitch for Toronto is Alex Lanigan.
For Lanigan on the year, an ERA getting close to 10. In 5 2/3 inning pitched, he allowed 11 hits, 6 runs, and struck out 6. Not too much of data on him, as there's only about 6 innings pitched, but we'll see what he has in store here. We heard a lot from Julius earlier on the midseason adjustments from Brad McQuinn.
First pitch swinging, and he dunks it into left center field. They are going to wave home Anamod. He will score easily. The ball is thrown in. 11-0 Baycats.
Well, you bring in a new pitcher, and on the first pitch he sees, he lines a double into left center field. Just not going the Maple Leafs way tonight, and if you're the Baycats, you are loving what you are seeing because absolutely anything and everything is going your way.
Canisijo has flied out, walked, and singled, has scored twice. Every Baycat in this lineup has reached base safely tonight. All but 2 have scored runs. And we're only in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And we are back at the top of the order. If I'll have a little bit of an odd stat here. If Canisijo gets a walk here, it'll bring up Brandon Hernandez, who has had 2 bases loaded plate appearances already tonight. It would be his 3rd if Canisijo can draw a walk here.
Definitely a possibility. However, it's an 0-2 count to Ejo, but you're right. That would be something that I find every ball game we do here, there's something that I've never seen before, and that would be one right there. 3 straight bases loaded at bats in 3 straight innings. He did not check his swing, so strike 3. So 2 on for Hernandez. Still a pretty nice situation for him, though, to add to his RBI total.
What's better than the bases loaded with 2 outs? How about 2 on with 2 outs with a runner on 3rd and 2nd? But if you're Lanigan getting right back on track, giving up a hit with your first pitch and then striking out the next batter, good to see if you're the Toronto right-hander.
5 RBIs tonight. Watch him hit one out of the park here and make it 8. Wouldn't that be something? A high pop-up, left field. Shortstop over as well. It's going to be Vinicio over. Looks like he called off the left fielder. It dropped. 2 more Baycats come in. I don't know why Vinicio would be coming all the way over from shortstop when that would have been an easy catch for Ryan DeSantos, but Vinicio felt he had to make a play on that ball.
Well, the shortstop usually has priority in calling balls, but the speedy shortstop there actually overran the ball and had to try to make an over-the-head play, but he went too far, and for Brandon Hernandez, that is RBI number 6 and RBI number 7. I'd love to see if we could get a stat going on. What is the Baycats record for postseason single-game RBIs? Because I got to think Brandon Hernandez is getting close to that mark tonight, here only in the 5th inning.
So that elusive 3rd out once again for the Maple Leafs as Baycats are doing some damage here with 2 outs in this ball game. Malik Williams comes to the plate, the 9th Baycat to hit here on the 4th. Well, if you're a Barrie fan and you said to your family, let's pick a game in this series to go to, how about the series opener? You picked a pretty good one. 13 runs for the Baycats in 4 innings as this one's driven to left field pretty deep, and it'll stay up there. And Ryan DeSantos will make that catch, and that will do it. Baycats up 13-0 over the Maple Leafs. We've played 4. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield. Moving.ca. For all your moving needs for over 35 years, Moving.ca. The original 2 men who just happen to be small, who make moving stress-free. 2 small men with big hearts moving. We always have a big heart for you at Moving.ca. The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room, and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats! From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Top of the fifth inning, Ben Davy and Dylan Quinn, along with Julius Hearn. Baycats on top by a score of 13-0. From the top of the fifth, Mike Chiquetto, Dan Mara, Connor Lewis, bottom third of the order for Rob Butler's Maple Leafs here. Frank Garces cruising right along. His last 5 recorded outs have all been strikeouts. He walked Justin Mara, the only interruption to that string of 5 strikeouts in a row. So I always love announcing baseball and playoff baseball whenever it happens to be scheduled, but the one little shred of disappointment I did have was that tonight's game fell on the same night as the CNE game for the Toronto Argonauts. You know I'm a big Argos fan, Dylan, and the Argos are playing the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight. So that score is 13-10 for Saskatchewan.
Well, I know you'd love to be watching that game, a 13-13 score right now, but you know who else has scored 13 points? The Barrie Baycats. Different sport, but same result as Frank Garces notches his 8th strikeout of the night. And who saw this coming? A 13-0 ball game here in the top of the 5th inning. Ben, we're not even halfway through this game. We still have so much more baseball to play here at Vintage Stone Stadium on playoff opening night.
Chiquetto down on strikes is brought to you by IMP North, and that is 6 consecutive outs as strikeouts for Frank Garces. That one fouled off the roof above the ticket booth to our right. So Dan Mara comes to the plate now. So who's going to have the higher score tonight, the Argos or the Baycats?
It's a great question.
That could go either way.
It really could.
Mara tonight 0 for 1. Garces, pitch. Called strike. It's a 1-2 count. Garces a strike away from retiring 7 straight via a strikeout, with the exception of the walk to Justin Mara. Here's the pitch. Got him! A strikeout for IMP North. Dan Mara with a very animated conversation now, and he's really dragging this out. He better be careful. Testing the tolerance of home plate umpire Preston Hughes. Said what he had to say, and he's back to the dugout. Now he says something else. And he will head back to the dugout, not happy at all. Still talking to the home plate umpire, making a motion with his hands as far as how far off the plate he thought that was. A line drive to third base, and a catch made by Adam on, and that will do it. Maple Leafs go 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway through this ball game. Barrie on top by 13. You're watching Rogers TV and Baycats TV on YouTube.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just $8.99 each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Welcome back. It's Baycats baseball playoff action here at Vintage Throne Stadium. The 5th inning brought to you by Fatrim. Aluminum and siding, quality above all else.
Ryan Rio to lead it off for the Baycats. Bottom of the 5th inning. Barrie comfortably on top by 13. Baycats have batted around twice tonight. They sent 10 men to the plate in the 2nd, 9 men to the plate in the 4th. Ryan Rio started the 4th with a fly out to left field. He will lead off the 5th here.
Well, Lanigan out for his 2nd inning of work here. Gets a tough assignment to lead off the inning. It's Ryan Rio and then Nolan Macabrota.
2 balls and no strikes here to the Baycat DH.
We had talked a little bit about Ryan Rio's slow start and his struggles earlier in the year. His change really came in his approach. He wasn't chasing pitches, he was waiting for the pitches he liked, and he wasn't chasing pitches out of the zone. He's finding his pitch, he's having a box approach, and that really did wonders for him in the later stages of the season where he was able to do a lot of damage to opposing pitchers.
The last time the Maple Leafs gave up 13 runs or more was in Hamilton. They lost to the Cardinals by a score of 18-5. That was back on July the 31st. But they followed that up with their next game, scoring 22 runs against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Rio swings and misses, strike 3. That score, 22-11. You talk about a football score. That sounds like a CFL game right there. Toronto-Chatham-Kent, 33 runs scored in that game. So this Maple Leaf team can be on either side of high-scoring games. We've seen it both at home and on the road.
Absolutely, Ben. And a 13-0 deficit is not where you want to be. But as you just said, 22 runs in a single ball game is no easy task. And if you're the Baycats, you can't get complacent. This is not your average 7 seed in the Toronto Maple Leafs, very tested and veteran lineup. And really, when you think about it, no lead is safe in the IBL.
Salazzo over near the fence, reaches up and makes a great catch. Had some fans to contend with as well who were leaning against the top portion of that fence, but Salazzo made the catch just a couple of steps away from him. And 2 quick outs here for Alex Lanigan.
Really shutting down the Baycats offense has been Lanigan out of the bullpen. A really quick 2 outs to begin the 5th inning here, or the bottom of the 5th inning, I should say.
Yeah, the Leafs have only had 1 quick inning defensively, and that was in the 1st. A single by Malik Williams, and that was it. They do not have a 3-up, 3-down inning yet against the Baycats in this ball game.
Yep, Baycats have scored at least 3 runs in the past 3 innings. This would be the first time in the last 3 innings they have been shut out.
Pitch is outside, and it's a 1-1 count to Hayden Jaco. Jaco 2 for 3 tonight. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball called strike, 1-2. Lanigan starting to find a little bit of rhythm now. Coming on in relief of Angel Castro, who did not pitch well tonight. That one bounces up to the plate, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Angel Castro definitely did struggle to begin his 2024 IBL postseason campaign. But this is what I mean about a fresh slate when the playoffs start. Because Lanigan came into this game with a 9.52 ERA. But to me, he's looked very good in his inning and change work out of the pen. And if you're part of the Toronto Maple Leafs managerial staff, you may consider throwing him in another appearance this postseason, as that's a terrific breaking ball for strike 3.
Baycats go 3-up, 3-down for the first time tonight. So we have played 5, and Barrie still on top 13-0. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Top of the 6th inning, and the Baycats on top by a score of 13-0. Dylan Quinn in the broadcast booth with me tonight. Julius Hearn, our sideline reporter, and I'm Ben Davy. We're back to the top of the order. Frank Garces will face Jose Benicio, Jordan Castaldo, and Marcus Connect. Frank Garces has retired 8 of his last 9, and 7 of those 8 have been strikeouts. Had a shot of some Toronto fans just past the third base dugout there, commonly known as the Bushmen, at their park, Christie Pitts in Toronto, and that's because they're up near the bushes on that third base side. Foul ball off to the right. Well, got to give them marks for consistency. They picked the same side of the ballpark here.
Yeah, and if fans were watching during that commercial break, our reporter today, Julius Hearn, was over there talking with the Bushmen last half inning. Julius, what do you have in store for us?
I went over to talk to them.
This one driven to right center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Benicio is aboard as Canisijo picks it up and fires it in.
And I went over to talk to them in the last half inning, and I asked them, like, where have you guys been this year? They're obviously really excited to be here, but I was surprised to find out this is their first road trip this year. They made it up to 4 different road games last year. 2 of them were here, and if you remember, one of them was in the IBL finals because I think some Baycats fans and players that really recruited them to come out here, give the Baycats some extra support against the Jackfish. These guys are really excited to be here, and when I was on my way back up here, they said, pass along to you guys, no lead is safe.
Oh, we know that. Running a long way is the third baseman, and it's out of the reach of Adam Odd, and it looks like fan made a nice catch down there.
Well, we have echoed those same sentiments tonight, as no lead is safe in the IBL. And I remember that game in the IBL finals that the Bushmen attended last year. One of those Baycats players who was heavily recruiting was Ryan Rio, as the Bushmen brought a sign to the game that read, #Rio for president.
President of what?
President of baseball, I'm sure.
I guess. I'm sure he'd take that title. Jordan Castaldo now, fan favorite. Garces deals. This one hit on the ground, right to first. Williams to short for 1, and no relay. Frank Garces was over there to cover. They couldn't get the throw off. Good hard slide by Jose Benicio.
The right fielder, number 29, Marcus Connect.
Well, a little bit late to get over to the bag was Frank Garces, unable to turn the double play. Still get the lead runner. A nice turn by Malik Williams. And it'll draw Marcus Connect, the right fielder.
Don't know about you, but I like seeing those good hard slides at second base. Dylan, I know they've made a lot of rules in Major League Baseball to kind of discourage those, especially the ones that are way off the bag, and I don't think most fans like seeing those anyways, that sometimes take out the infielder, but well, Benicio coming really hard on the bag there at second.
If you're not getting down and dirty, are you really trying your hardest? it's not baseball if your mom isn't having to wash their pants after every game because they've got dirt all over them.
Fly ball, right field, Brad McQuinn over and has it as he makes the catch.
All start, all start, all start.
Louder ovation than usual for Brad McQuinn in right field. I'm not sure why. It's a fairly routine catch.
Perhaps the Brad McQuinn fan club in attendance tonight.
That's just an ordinary F9, isn't it? Do I need to put a star beside that? I'm not sure why, but that drew a very loud ovation from these fans. Jonathan Salazzo swings and misses. Brad McQuinn made one of the best catches of the year in left field at Christie Pitts earlier in the season.
He always has some highlight potential in him when he's in the field. He's had a number of plays, some at second as well.
Runner on, 2 out. We're in the 6th. Salazzo with an 0-2 count. Frank Garces has struck out 9 tonight. The 0-2. Make it double digits for Frank Garces. 10 Toronto strikeouts. And the Baycats are off the field in the top of the inning. Go to the bottom of the 6th now with Barrie on top. 13-0 on Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. BarrieToday.com. Local news, weather, Baycat scores, and more. BarrieToday.com. Your community, your news.
For inning number 9, the winning ticket number is 2465089. If you have any of those program inning prize winning ticket numbers, you can claim your prize in the Baycats merch booth at the front of the ballpark here tonight. Congratulations.
Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium, the 6th inning of Baycats playoff baseball, brought to you by Moving.ca. Two small men with big hearts, moving, making moving stress-free for over 35 years.
Ben Davy, Dylan Quinn, Julius Hearn, field level, and it's a Baycat lead here in Game 1 of the first round of the 2024 IBL playoffs. 13-0 for the Baycats. Baycats have outscored the Toronto Argonauts so far tonight. Argos have 10, Barrie has 13, and they've outscored the Toronto Maple Leafs, the IBL Maple Leafs as well.
Looking to add some more here is Adam Odd. Ripped a double his last at bat.
Here's the pitch. On the ground foul.
We mentioned Odd's uncharacteristic low batting average this season, and for me we saw his change in approach and where his success comes in his last at bat. He's at his best when he's swinging confidently and he's got that big leg kick and that big follow through, and when he's chasing pitches in the dirt he's not coming up as he could, and we saw in his last at bat when he finds a pitch that he can connect with, he sends it with power and he sends it a long way. This will be his 6th IBL postseason, and he's managed to hit over 300 3 times in his IBL career. none coming in the postseason.
That one is fouled away. On the out-of-town scoreboard, Kitchener ahead of Welland, 2-1 in that first round series. And still early in that game. Let's see what inning that's in. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. Adam Odd waits. Here's the pitch from Lanigan, and it's up the middle, into center field. Base hit for Adam Odd. Third time he's reached base tonight. That 2-1 Kitchener score, thanks to Julius Hearn for providing this, is in the top of the 7th inning. How about that?
Second baseman number 7.
Ben Abram pitching for the Jackfish, and pitching well, apparently. So what an upset that would be if Kitchener could hold on.
Well, it'll be the biggest upset in the IBL with a one seed versus the 8 seed. But really a tale of 2 games if you're changing channels on the IBL tonight. A 13-0 game and a pitcher's duel, 2-1 in the top of the 7th inning.
Well, it would be an upset, but Kitchener has their best pitcher out tonight, Yadier Martinez, and he has thrown an absolute gem. 5 hits over 6 innings, only 1 earned run. This one hit high and deep to left center field. It will stay in the park, and the catch is made by the center fielder, Connor Lewis. Runner holds, 1 out in the inning, a long, loud out off the bat of Roy Sando.
Well, that was a good sign for Roy Sando. Usually a very short swing, sending base hits just over the infield. That was a hard hit ball from the 8-hitter, and there was a second there where I thought that ball might leave.
Here's the pitch. Breaking ball low.
Number 2, Charlie Towers is in the shortstop.
And we're told Charlie Towers is in the game now at short for Jose Vinicio. That one through the wickets of Mara, and the runner stays put. Thanks to Sam McCoy, our media coordinator, for picking that up for us. Towers in at short for Vinicio. A little bit of an odd substitution there. Vinicio, not normally a guy who's going to be pulled midway through a game. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled away again.
Well, if you can take away any positives from a 13-0 deficit, it definitely has been Lanigan out of the bullpen coming in, and he hasn't had much action through the regular season, but now walking away from this game 1, you feel like you might be able to throw him again later on in the series with how well he's shut down a Baycats offense who has been so dominant so far.
Ground ball to second, to short for 1. The relay to first, it's a high throw. Towers air mailed that one over the head of Jordan Castaldo, who didn't even make an effort to reach up for it.
You mentioned a little bit of an odd substitution to take Vinicio out, and Charlie Towers coming in cold off the bench just doesn't make the throw there, and the inning will stay alive for the top of the order.
Well, Vinicio had a couple of mental lapses defensively tonight, and I'm not sure if that had anything to do with the substitution or not, but a fairly routine throw there by the shortstop, Charlie Towers, was just soared right over the head of the first baseman, so. Two outs in the inning. This is Kanisi Joe.
He's on timeout right now.
Lanigan's pitch. Went off speed, and it's a called strike. 0-2.
Benicio's on timeout.
Baycats with 5 in the second, 3 in the third, 5 in the fourth, but have been quiet so far. Lanigan giving his team every opportunity to fight their way back into this ball game. That one bounces up to the plate, gets away from Mara. No effort there to try to get Brad McQuinn. He's up 90 feet to second base.
Well, he would be out of the inning right now if it wasn't for the missed throw by the shortstop. And for Lanigan, this is where you prove yourself. It's a little bit of a blowout, you could say, and you get the call out of the bullpen to get these last few outs, and you've dominated a team who has put up 13 runs thus far. it's not been an easy task for him coming out of the bullpen, but he's done a great job.
On the ground to Towers at short. Sets himself and makes a good throw there to get Kenise Ejo for the third out of the inning. Baycats strand a runner, 6 innings in the books. It's a 13-0 Baycat lead here in Game 1 of the opening round playoff series between Toronto and Barrie. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield. Moving.ca. For all your moving needs for over 35 years, Moving.ca. The original 2 men who just happen to be small, who make moving stress-free. 2 small men with big hearts moving. We always have a big heart for you at Moving.ca. From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Toronto coming to bat here on the top of the 7th inning.
Some substitutions here for the Baycats in the top of the 7th inning. Over at first, Noah Hull enters the game, and over at right, it's Osefa Jones. And we were talking a little bit earlier on how long the Baycats would keep Frank Garces in the game, but we have our answer as he goes 6 innings, and Ryan Lacasse gets the call out of the bullpen.
13-0 lead, so a nice low-pressure situation, or no-pressure situation, really, for the bullpen tonight. And I talked to Josh Matlow before the game about the strength of the big 3 in the starting rotation here for Barrie. Garces, Rosado, and Benitez. 3 guys that can go deep in the ballgame, give you some really good innings in the starting rotation. If the Baycats have had one question mark this year, it has been the bullpen. And the nice luxury of having 3 good starters like that is they can get you deep into a ballgame. Popped up, left side, and it's playable, and unable to make the catch is the third baseman, Adam Odd.
Well, similar to Alex Lanigan, these are the opportunities for those bullpen arms where you really prove yourself and gain confidence in your manager to put the ball in your hand later in other opportunities in the postseason. For Ryan Lacasse, he has just struggled to find the zone at times. He's got a very good 2-seamer, good slider that works well off of that, but his struggle has been finding the zone and limiting the walks.
Breaking ball misses. So a situation here where you can give those relievers some work rather than the other mindset of trying to feel like you have to save your bullpen. A good chance to use some of these guys, get some playoff innings under their belt, and then they'll be ready when needed, hopefully, in the closer scores. This one hit a long way. Good night. Justin Mara with a moonshot. That one landed somewhere in Stainer. It's only 1 run, but boy, that made an awful lot of noise here, especially from those Toronto fans down by the Toronto dugout. Finally have something to cheer about here. 13-1.
Well, that was a hard hit ball, almost a line drive home run. He found his pitch, a fastball that was just cranked over to by the scoreboard where you were mentioning so many home runs hit at here at Vintage Throne Stadium.
See a game going on the other diamond past right field. That ball might have bounced over there somewhere.
And speaking to Ryan Lacasse and his issues with control on the year, his most recent appearance was in that Toronto game, the aforementioned Toronto game at Christie Pitts. In his first inning of work, he struck out the side quite. He was quite dominant in that inning, and then he comes in extra innings, starts with a runner on second, and he ends up walking in the winning run. So it was a tale of 2 innings for Lacasse. We've seen what he can do when he's on, and we can see what he can do when he's not in the zone as well.
Yeah, he's been hot and cold, and he's looking for that consistency, and here is his opportunity in a 13-run game, now a 12-run game, but lots of wiggle room, lots of margin for error, and just a chance for him to get comfortable out there and try to figure out what's going to work for him. And an ejection now from the Toronto dugout. Preston Hughes gave someone the heave-ho. They weren't happy with that called strike on Ryan DeSantos. And somebody got tossed. I have no idea who. We'll find out in a minute, whoever ends up heading out of the dugout there, but we're told it was Angel Castro, and there he is.
I believe it was.
He walks out towards the grass. That's not a good idea. Now he turns and walks back towards the fence. He is giving Preston Hughes an earful. Still hasn't left the field of play. Now, we saw this happen in a game in Guelph earlier this season. I can't remember who it was, but there was an ejection, and the player took an awful long time to leave the field, and the umpires were not happy about that. Castro has now left. So it's a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Fastball sails high.
It's a 13-1 ball game, but as we've said many times tonight, no lead is safe in the IBL, and you're 9 outs away for the Baycats, but those 9 outs can't come soon enough.
Foul tip into the glove, strike 3.
And with that, we send it over to reporter Julius Hearn.
Hey guys, so you mentioned Ryan Lacasse last outing against the Maple Leafs. That actually was coming off of, or in relief of, Carlos Sano, who got ejected from that game and was later suspended. That also plays into another big storyline of this game. This is Josh Matlow's first game back in the dugout since that suspension from that incident at Pitts that Wednesday night. So after talking to Matlow in a couple of the home games at this ballpark while he was suspended, he was saying that it's much more intense from the dugout, as you could imagine. But he said you got a lot of different perspective from watching the game from up here towards our vantage point as opposed to being at the top step.
Well, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I spoke to both managers before the game about the incident that happened on August 7th in Toronto and the suspensions that ensued from an on-field confrontation during the game as that pitch is high for a ball, 1-2. And both managers said the same thing. The matter is settled. It's in the books. They've turned the page. This is the playoffs now. It's a brand new start. So officially, the manager's saying there's no mindset from that game that's going to carry over here into the postseason, but you have to think that it's still in the back of their minds on some level. And the intensity is certainly there. The rivalry is still there, whether you want to think about that game or not. Ryan Lacasse certainly remembers it well, as does Carlos Sano, and Sano got served with a suspension in the aftermath of that.
Well, absolutely. I believe Josh Matlow had said that in my interview with him, and Julius' interview with him a few nights ago. He said that it was a different environment watching the game all the way up from the stands, watching down instead of in the dugout.
That one eats up the shortstop, Brandon Hernandez, no play. And Chiquetto is aboard with an infield single.
Second baseman, number 6.
Well, we didn't see any animosity between these clubs in the early innings. No inside pitches to Jose Vinicio or anything like that, which some fans might have had their eye open for. But that incident on August 7th started with a shouting match between Vinicio, who was on the on-deck circle, and Carlos Sano, who was on the mound. Those two had a confrontation. The bench is emptied, and everything sort of unraveled from there.
The altercation all began when the batter called time, and Sano, already in his motion or not wanting to stop his motion, decided to still pitch the ball. And that drew some comments from both sides, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, it was following a home run, and I believe Connor Lewis hit a home run, the at-bat prior to an inside pitch that resulted in, that came from the batter. The batter tried to call timeout, didn't get it. Sano followed through with his pitch. Didn't seem to be anything untoward about that. 2-0 the count, and it's over the shortstop into left field. So Toronto making some noise here. 2 base runners on, 1 out in the inning.
And we say once more that no lead is safe in the IBL. And you mentioned it, Ben, and I didn't even think about this, but the possibility of maybe throwing one inside or hitting a batter early on to send a message. In the postseason, you never want to give another team an advantage, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I'll get your take on this. I've never really been a fan of sending a message by hitting another one of another team's batters, because you're giving them an advantage. You're sending a runner to first base, which in the postseason, every runner, every out matters. I don't know. I didn't think it was a good idea. I never think it's a good idea, and I think it was the correct decision by both teams to just let their game do the talking.
Yeah, you never like to see it happen, and it does happen, but nobody seems to want to admit that that's the case. This one is center field, and Ijo lying out for it, comes up with it and makes the catch. 2 out of the inning, runners return, and we're back to the top of the order.
And the Toronto first base coach running all the way out to second base to plead his case that that ball was not caught by Ijo in center field. So the umpires are going to meet here. We've seen Ijo make so many sliding catches in center field. You always think that he has a chance to come up with it, but from our vantage point up here in the broadcast booth, did not get a good look at it. And they're going to call it an out.
Guys, this very similar play, almost the exact same play happened in Tuesday in Brantford, where Kenice Ijo, he dove in to make a running catch in center field, and where it looked like he didn't really come up with it, at least from the vantage point of some of the Red Sox players on the field. The exact same outcome happened where the call on the field was out. Umpires converged. They talked about it for a little bit and stuck with the call on the field. That's exactly what's happened here.
Well, once the initial call is made, you seldom see that reversed, if ever, but in that situation, Dan Mara was pretty close to center field because he was on his way to try to advance 90 feet if that ball had dropped. Thought that maybe Ijo trapped it. Hard to tell from where we sit all the way back here looking through the screen.
Well, that's a great point, Ben. The call on the field was out. And with a center fielder that is as much range as Kenice Ijo does, you always want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He also came up with that ball very quickly. It would have been tough for the umpires to meet and then change their decision as...
Here comes Rob Butler. And Scott Costello being very patient with him, unless he's been tossed already. Comes all the way out of the third base dugout. Maybe he got ejected already and we missed it, I'm not sure. He came out there and had some very strong words for Scott Costello. Somebody else from the Leafs is out there as well. I'm not sure who that is. That is the first base coach.
Sam Green walking out to add a man to the conversation here.
Get off the field!
Some heated words being shared in a 13-1 ball game here on opening night for the playoffs.
Two balls, one strike to Charlie Tower, so we'll continue the at-bat here. And miraculously, I don't think there were any ejections there, which is pretty shocking. Looks like everybody is still there.
Nobody there at first base for the Maple Leafs. I believe Butler was tossed.
Yeah, Butler is now leaving the dugout area. So second ejection of the night, Angel Castro and Rob Butler.
And that might have been a little bit of a tactic to send a message there for his Maple Leafs hitters who have gotten behind quite a bit in this game. Now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, you want to spark a fire under your team and really get them back into this game, and maybe that's a little bit of a strategy there from Rob Butler.
Towers draws a walk. Well, the inning continues, and a 12-run lead, you feel pretty comfortable with it, but this is not exactly what Lacasse wanted. Loading the bases here and just dragging out this inning longer than it needs to be. A mound visit charge to the Baycats here as Tyler Plumpton, who's now into the game behind the plate, came out for a chat with Lacasse.
With all the substitutions, we may have missed Tyler Plumpton relieving Hayden Jaco of catcher's duties tonight.
Castaldo, first pitch swinging, routine play for Roy Sando. The throw to first is in time for the out, and that will do it. 1 run for Toronto. In the top of the 7th, it's stretch time. Baycats comfortably on top. You're watching Rogers TV Barrie and Baycats TV on YouTube.
From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on Essa Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room, and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats!
Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just $8.99 each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Welcome back to Vintage Stone Stadium. It's 7th inning baseball, the 7th inning brought to you by Psycho Solutions. Full automotive service from headlight to tailpipe.
Julian Johnston comes into the game to play first base for the Maple Leafs for Jordan Castaldo. So he may have been ejected in that inning as well. We're not sure. We'll try to get a confirmation on that for you. But either way, Castaldo is out of this game. To short, off-balance throw is in time for the out.
Well, Charlie Towers, who made the error earlier on, has made up with it with 2 plays. That one, a terrific running, charging play from shortstop.
Noah Hull, who took over from Malik Williams at first base, now has the number 3 spot in the order. So lots of substitutions here on both sides. Why not get some playoff action in for as many of these guys as possible in a 12-run game? This will be Hull's first playoff at bat. And he hits this one deep and foul. Home run distance. Just pulled that one around too far to the right. Hull has had his struggles defensively this season, but certainly showed promise at the plate.
Absolutely, Ben. A .306 hitter this year. 11 RBIs, and he's getting some chances here in the postseason.
Swings and misses, strike 2. What a job of pitching by Lanigan here on relief of Angel Castro.
He has done a terrific job, Ben, out of the pen.
He's allowed just 2 base runners since coming on. As this one hits the center field, it's a base hit for Noah Hall. All the way over to his right to pick it up is Connor Lewis. The throw in, that's a stand-up double for Noah Hall.
Coming in cold off the bench, no problem for Noah Hall. He rips a double to left center field, had some nice hustle around the bag and was able to make it into 2.
Ryan Rio tonight, 1 for 4. So every Baycat, including Hull, who has had an at-bat tonight, has reached base safely. It's been a balanced attack, top to bottom for the Baycats, and that's what Josh Matlow likes to see.
How about that, Ben? 10 different Baycats hitters making it on board tonight.
Well, one of the problems in the Welland series was the lack of ability to string hits together, and Barrie has done that so well here tonight against the Leafs in Game 1 of this series. That really is the key to winning.
The benefit to playing in a lineup like Barrie has is you don't need to play hero ball. If you're Ryan Rio, you don't need to be the guy 2 years ago who'd hit home run after home run after home run and willed the Baycats into every game. You just need to do your job. There's only been one long ball, and it was a solo shot out of the 13 runs tonight for the Baycats. Do your job, get a long at-bat, get on base, and the guys behind you will pick you up. And if everybody does their job, you see what can happen tonight.
Couldn't check his swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 16 hit attack tonight for the Barrie Baycats. And if you're a Baycat fan, you only hope that they can continue to keep that train rolling through this first round series against Toronto. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch from Lanigan. Bounces up to the plate.
Well, absolutely, Ben. Your biggest concern, if you're a Baycat fan watching tonight, is that you hope the Baycats don't use up all of their offense in one game. You want to make sure it's a even attack across all games throughout the series.
3-2. Hit to left field. It'll drop for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third. Throw is offline. Lanigan keeps that from going to over towards the third base dugout.
Well, a small microcosm for what I was talking about earlier with just do your job and the guys behind you will pick you up. Depending on who the Baycats have coming up and who's in the hole and who's on deck, the Baycats may have decided to send Noah Hall over there at third base. But with Nolan Macabrota up, followed by Tyler Plumpton or whoever it may be, you're confident holding that runner and you're confident that the rest of the guys will drive them in.
Over the mound. And the second baseman with a flip to short for 1. The relay to first. Not in time. Hull scores. Another one on the board for Barrie.
Well, 2 touchdowns and both with the extra point coming after for the Baycats. It's 14 runs on the board.
The catcher, number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
So Rio retired 4-6 on the force. Could have been a double play ball off the bat of Nolan Macabrota, but some good speed gets him to first, keeps the inning alive. Here's a pop-up towards us. Oh my goodness, wow. I lost sight of it. They're all saying I could have caught it. I honestly had no idea where it was.
Ben, if you had a little bit more of a longer wingspan and you maybe had got a glimpse of that ball a half second earlier, you might have been able to make the play on that ball and it would have been pretty impressive.
I would have had to have had a glove on my right hand, which I'm a left-handed catcher, a right-handed thrower, right? So the glove's on my left hand. I don't think I would have got it, but.
In all your years up here in the booth, have you ever caught a foul ball?
Swing and a foul tip into the glove for a strike. The only one I caught bounced, and it landed right there, just to your left, and I picked it up.
Well, that still counts.
Yeah, so it wasn't a clean catch, but it bounced up here, and I got it, so gave it to a young fan. Plumpton swings and misses, strike 3. Baycats get a run, 7 innings in the books, 14-1 Barrie. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV.
The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room, and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats! From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on ESSA Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May. Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
Dylan Quinn, Ben Davy, Julius Hearn, Brian Backland, and everybody else at the ballpark enjoying a 13-run Baycat lead. 14-1 Barrie here as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Ryan Lacasse is back out for his second inning of work, coming on in relief of Frank Garces here tonight. Marcus Connect will lead it off for Toronto. Connect the right fielder tonight. Lacasse with a high, hard fastball, misses inside.
That's that two-seamer tailing to the inside part of the plate. And Lacasse in his first inning gave up a run, left the bases loaded, but you want to have a bounce-back inning here and prove that you can find that zone.
Well, he did a good job working out of that jam. Definitely could have been worse. If you're going to make one mistake, may as well do it with the bases empty. And that was the pitch to Mara that is probably still somewhere up in the air over that right field wall. I'm not sure that ever did come down. An absolute moonshot off the bat of the veteran catcher. Goes off speed there and misses high and away. 2-1.
Well, for Lacasse, other than the home run that was hit last inning, it really has been the walks that have killed him rather than hard hit contact. Out of the 22 hits, as that one's popped up.
Pop up over near the Barrie dugout. And
and Julius Hearn can't come up with it. That ball was tailor-made for Julius to make the play right in the breadbasket.
Go easy on him.
Can't come up with it there. Ben Davy missing a ball, Julius Hearn missing a ball.
His face is redder than the roof of the Baycat dugout. Right through the wickets. I mean, he didn't have a glove. Let's be fair to him. This one, kind of the same spot, and a slide and unable to catch it was the first baseman. Great effort there.
Definitely just joking around up here. It was definitely a tough play for Julius. We're not going to put it past him. I myself actually used to play organized baseball with Julius. I know 9 times out of 10 he's going to make that play.
Some kind words. Nice effort by Noah Hull there on the slide, trying to make that catch. Unable to do so. So it's 2-2 now. Lacasse to Connect. Over the screen. I generally don't try to barehand anything. I will often bring a glove to a game. If I catch a ball, I give it to a youngster or my kids if they're with me. But I had a bad experience with a line drive off my ring finger on my right hand. And you can still see it's a little puffy. It's kind of fractured. This happened maybe 20 years ago. And I never got it I never got the bone reset, and it's always had this this little misshape to this day. So
maybe it's a good thing then that you didn't stretch out for the play there, as that would have been the same hand that you injured. You would have been catching the ball with.
Another foul away. Yeah, I was playing just a youth league game and was pitching, and it was a line drive to my right, and I tried to barehand it. I didn't think it was hit very hard, but it bent my ring finger back and evidently fractured it. I didn't realize. I thought it was just kind of swollen at the time. So you do have to be careful if you're going to try to barehand a baseball. I don't recommend it. Deep left field. And there to make the catch is the left fielder, Nolan Macabrota.
Seemed like
2 outs in the inning.
Seemed like he may have lost it in the lights there for a bit, but tracked it down nonetheless and made the catch. Lacasse getting the first out of the inning, and as I was saying earlier, Lacasse has given up 17 runs in his 2024 rookie IBL campaign, but he's only allowed 22 hits. And that goes to show that he's not getting beat by hits. He's not getting beat by other hitters beating him. It's been the walks that have hurt him, as we've said so many times. But we've seen the stuff. He's got a good two-seamer, good slider. And when he's on the zone, putting pitches exactly where he wants to, he could be another guy in this Baycats bullpen that Josh Matlow could entrust with the ball if he can just prove to himself and everybody else that he can find the zone at will.
We don't usually give CFL football scores out during a Baycats game, but the Toronto Argonauts have just kicked a field goal, and they now lead Barrie by 2.
Checking in with the other IBL games as well, it was 2-1 for Kitchener. Welland has since came back and tied it. It's a 2-2 ball game, top of the 8th inning over there in Welland.
So what do you think's more likely tonight? The Panthers upsetting the Jackfish, or the Baycats outscoring the Argonauts? 2-1 pitch. Shallow fly ball to left field. It'll be the third baseman backpedaling and making the catch.
Well, Ben, to answer your question, the way the Baycats were swinging a few innings ago, I would have said the more likely event was the Baycats outscoring the Argonauts, but it's been a few zeros and just 1 run the past 3 innings, so I don't want to make any announcers' jinxes here, but I would say Kitchener, with the pitching performance they've gotten tonight, has just as good a chance as anybody.
Yadier Martinez throwing a gem tonight for the Panthers. Here's Justin Mara, who hit a solo home run to get Toronto on the board in the 7th inning to break off the shutout. Frank Garces threw 6 shutout innings tonight, threw 84 pitches, turned the game over to Ryan Lacasse. Swing and a miss by Mara.
And for the Maple Leafs, action over there in the bullpen as Landon Leach warming up.
Got a piece. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Not a whole lot of positives that you could say about this outcome for Toronto here tonight, but one might be the fact that they've only had to use 2 pitchers tonight and only 1 arm out of the bullpen despite being down by 13 runs. Alex Lanigan has done a very fine job coming on in relief of Angel Castro tonight. Lacasse with the 1-2. It's on the ground and it's through. Base hit to center field for Justin Mara. He has reached base all 4 times tonight. 2 walks, a solo home run, and a base hit. So a good night for him at the plate. This guy has had the exact opposite result at the plate tonight. Ryan DeSantos, 3 straight strikeouts.
And for Dos Santos, this is the hitter who you expect to get on base. His .329 average was the top of the leaderboards for the Maple Leafs. So an uncharacteristic performance tonight.
Takes a pitch and it misses away. Seven hits tonight for the Leafs, only 1 across. Here's the pitch. And it's low, 2-0.
Ryan Lacasse getting another opportunity here to pitch with runners on base. It's always different getting into that stretch motion. Your windup changes, your whole approach changes, and he's been unable to find the strike zone here.
A situation here where you just want to come after the guy at the plate, throw strikes, get ahead in the count. He has struggled in doing that. He's down here 3-0 with a runner on and 2 out. Here's the pitch. And he finds the plate for a called strike. Barrie bullpen is quiet. Here's the pitch. Bounces up to the plate, ball 4. 2 aboard for the Leafs.
Nobody in the bullpen for the Baycats. It's Lacasse' job to take it the rest of the way and find 4 outs. He's had a lot of bite on that slider. He's got to find it in different locations, though.
Available tonight in the bullpen for Barrie, Brandon Hillier, Braden Pakala, and Adam Kahn, and Christian Lazar. All eligible for this tonight. Brad Grieveson is away. And this one is over the shortstop's glove and into center field. It'll score another run for Toronto. In to score is Justin Mara. Barrie up 14-2. And the "Go Leafs Go" chant from the Bushmen over on the third base side. They get something to cheer about here in this top of the 8th inning.
Well, 14-2, the Toronto Maple Leafs have scored a safety if we're trying to compare this game to football.
Dan Mara now. Well, losing Ryan DeSantos by walking him has really created a tough situation here now. DeSantos had struck out 3 times tonight. That's a note that you definitely want, especially with 2 out in the inning. Chiquetto extending the inning, and this one hit a long way to left field. And it is caught by the left fielder. A nice play by Nolan Macabrona right against the fence. And that will end the inning as the Leafs lead the bases loaded, 14-2 Barrie. We go to the bottom of the 8th. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on ESSA Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park. The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield. BarrieToday.com. Local news, weather, Baycat scores, and more. BarrieToday.com. Your community, your news.
Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium. It's 8th inning baseball. 8th inning brought to you by United Way Simcoe Muskoka, making poverty unignorable. To learn how you can help, you can visit uwsimcoemuskoka.ca.
Nothing but smiles on the faces of Baycats fans here at Vintage Throne Stadium. This round 1 playoff series opener between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Barrie Baycats has Barrie comfortably on top, 14-2. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Adam Odd will face Toronto's 3rd pitcher of the night, Landon Leach. First pitch swinging, high fly ball, deep left field, and it is gone! Nope, it bounced just inside the fence. A double for Adam Odd. Didn't miss by much.
Well, if the left fielder was a few more steps to his left, he might have been able to make that catch. The ball looked playable, but just bounced off the fence and back into play. And regardless, Adam Odd finds himself on second base.
Probably brushed against those banners in left center field as it came down. Ryan DeSantos in left field gave chase. And Roy Sando to the plate now for the Baycats.
And for Landon Leach, the new pitcher for the Maple Leafs, 8 2/3 innings pitched for the Maple Leafs, a 7.26 ERA.
Popped up in the infield. It'll be the shortstop making the catch. Charlie Towers. One away in the inning.
Right fielder number 22, Asafa Jones.
Should remind fans that this is a best-of-5 playoff series, and round 2 is best-of-5 as well. IBL Championship Series will be a best-of-7. Baycats have clinched home field throughout the playoffs unless and until they play Welland Jackfish in the finals. Welland right now in a battle with Kitchener, 2-2 late in that ball game. We're keeping our eye on that for you. And it's a called strike to Asafa Jones. Jones on for Brad McQuinn in the number 9 spot. 1 on, 1 out. Leach with the pitch. Called strike. Looked to be upstairs. Jones leaning away from it.
Asafa Jones at bat and Kenise Ejo on deck. Both will get opportunities here. The Baycats are 1 hit away from matching their season high as a team.
An impressive offensive output here tonight from the Baycats in this series opener. Baycats with 13 runs in a 3-inning span. Off starter Angel Castro here tonight. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout to get us safe with Jones. 2 down in the inning.
Well, back to the top of the order is Kenise Ejo. Him being the last opportunity to match that season high that I mentioned earlier. And on deck is Brandon Hernandez, who has had a terrific game tonight. 7 RBIs and 2 bases loaded hits.
Leach to Ejo, and it's a called strike. 2 ejections tonight for the Maple Leafs. Manager Rob Butler and starter Angel Castro, who was ejected after he left. He was pulled from the game. Couldn't hold up. It's a called strike, 0-2.
Fans still cheering all the way here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, some great energy in the crowd here tonight, even despite this lopsided score. Majority of these fans staying right till the end. This one to the second baseman, Dan Mara, with an easy play, and that will do it. Baycats strand a runner in the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 9th we go. Leafs need 12. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
From basic to cosmetic dentistry, Smiles on ESSA Dental has all your dental needs covered to knock your oral health out of the park.
Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium for 9th inning playoff Baycats baseball. 9th inning brought to you by United Way Simcoe Muskoka, making poverty unignorable. To learn how you can help, you can visit uwsimcoemuskoka.ca.
Ryan Lacasse will try to close this one out for Barrie, a 12-run lead. Baycats bullpen quiet as Lacasse will face Connor Lewis to lead it off here for Toronto.
Yep, 3 outs away, and Lacasse out to find 3 more as he works his 3rd inning of work.
This would be a save.
It unraveled quickly on the Maple Leafs here tonight. A 5-run second inning off of Angel Castro, and the offense didn't look back. Full throttle here tonight in this series opener.
And getting word from Julius, despite the 14-2 score, because this is Lacasse's 3rd inning out of the bullpen, this would qualify him for a save.
Not bad. Get a playoff save in your first appearance with a 12-run lead. That's a little statistical quirk, I guess, that pitcher would love to be able to notch tonight. Lacasse had 1 regular season save in his 15 appearances for the Baycats. Carlos Sano led the team with 4. 3 balls, 1 strike. Lacasse to Lewis. Foul tip to stay alive.
Yeah, that one previous save also came against Toronto in Christie Pitts, and it was a similar situation where he worked 3 innings out of the bullpen. Actually 4 innings out of the bullpen and picked up the save.
Christie Pitts has not been kind to Baycat relievers historically. Tough ballpark for any pitcher, never mind a closer in a close game. Lacasse deals on the ground to short. Hernandez sets, throws, a low throw, but scooped up nicely by Noah Hull for the out.
That's the presence that Brandon Hernandez has over at shortstop. Just so patient, standing his ground, waiting for the ball to come to him, and then firing it over to first base for the out.
Charlie Towers, who came on for Jose Vinicio at shortstop. Up the middle. Hernandez scoops it up, throws, 2 away.
Hernandez recording the first 2 outs of the inning. And no problem over there at short. 1 out away are the Cats from notching their first playoff win of the year, and it would be a big one as they would take a 1-0 series lead in the best-of-5 series.
Julian Johnston to bat, taking over for Marcus Connect, and he hits that one to short, and it eats up Brandon Hernandez, and that might have hit him up near the chin. He goes down quickly.
Looked to be
Hopefully he's okay.
Looked to be in the shoulder area, and it was a weird bounce coming off the grass. Usually Hernandez is going to have those no problem, but we will wait at least 1 more batter before the Baycats walk away with their first win of the series.
Looked like it might have been a 3-assist inning for the Baycats shortstop. Took a wicked hop on him at the last second. No runner at first, 2 out. Lacasse. This is low and away. Here's the pitch to connect. It's outside.
And only using 2 pitches tonight. Garces only going 6. You've been able to have Lacasse work 3 out of the pen. Sets you up very nicely for game 2, which will be Cesar Rosado and Christy Pitts. You have some options over there and who you can use if things go south early.
High fly ball, deep left field, up and gone. That is a 2-run homer for Marcus Connect. And the Maple Leafs get a couple here on the top of the 9th.
1 run away from cutting the deficit to single digits as Jonathan Salazzo crawls into the left side of the batter's box.
Third baseman, number 17, Jonathan Salazzo.
It's been a tough relief appearance here for Ryan Lacasse, even though he's in line for the save. He's really struggled these 3 innings. Gave up the solo to Justin Mara, had the bases loaded, worked his way out of that. Maple Leafs touched him up for a run in the 8th as well. Left a couple runners on when he got out of that jam, and now a 2-run homer here in the 9th inning. Fortunately for Lacasse, a nice low-pressure situation with a big lead to work with here. No balls, 1 strike. Salazzo hits that down the line, foul. And the Baycats are a strike away from taking the series opener.
And
what a crowd here at Vintage Throne Stadium on this Thursday night, playoff baseball.
A lot of these fans have stuck around, and credit to them. It's been a long night at the ballpark, but they've gotten a lot of offense from their Baycats.
And a lot of them on their feet with this 2-strike pitch. And it bounces up to the plate. Salazzo takes, it's 1-2. One-two to Salazzo, and it's fouled away. Salazzo, always a tough out.
Yeah, not fooled by that 0-2 breaking ball that bounced in front of the plate.
And he's not going to be any easier to get with a 10-run lead. Here's the pitch. Inside, taking all the way, 2-2.
Another breaking ball. Didn't fool Salazzo at all. But he's making contact with the fastball. He's putting Lacasse in a tough spot here for the final out of the ball game.
Justin Mara is on deck. We know what he has done tonight. Here's the pitch. Fouled again. This is what Salazzo does so well with 2 strikes. Just keeps fouling him off until he sees a pitch that he can jump on here. Probably looking for the fastball from Lacasse. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lacasse deals. Low, ball 3. He'll take the walk with the guy on deck, Justin Mara, who has reached base all 4 times tonight. A lone bright spot in this Toronto lineup here this evening. 3-2 on the way. It's popped up to left field. That should be the ball game. As Nolan Macabrota comes over, he can't make the catch. There to back him up is Canisijo, fires it over to Hernandez, and the inning will continue.
Well, a good at-bat from Salazzo and a good battle between him and Lacasse ends in an error, and we'll wait at least one more batter. We know what happened in the last meeting between Ryan Lacasse and Justin Mara. We'll see what the second time here has in store.
Yeah, Mara has owned him since coming into this ball game. A home run and a single. He scored twice. Had 2 walks off Frank Garces tonight. Not a guy you want to face, even with a 10-run lead. 1 on, 2 out. Justin Mara will try to keep this inning and this game alive. Here's the pitch, and it misses 1-1. I don't know what it is about left field with the Baycats this season, but a number of guys have had problems defensively out there. Nolan Macabrota out there tonight.
And in the top of the 10th inning, extra innings, Kitchener leads 3-2. So they got a runoff of Davy Mendez. And
swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I'm sure at the conclusion of this game, a lot of fans are going to head right over there to watch the conclusion of that Kitchener-Welland game.
As soon as this game ends here, you might want to change the channel over there in Welland.
This one hit to right field, and a fair ball. All the way over to pick it up is Asafa Jones. And they're going to hold the runner at third. So Salazzo to third. That's a double by Justin Mara to keep the inning alive and the game alive. And what a day at the dish for Justin Mara. A homer, a single, a double, 2 walks, and 2 runs scored.
Well, depending on how this game goes, Ben, Justin Mara is a triple away from the single. I don't think he's going to get another chance, but in a night like tonight, you never know.
We laugh, but anything is possible between these teams. Greg Carrington comes on now to pinch hit for Ryan DeSantos. DeSantos had struggled tonight, 3 strikeouts and a walk. First base is open. If you don't want to face him, you can go after Mike Cicchetto, who's on deck. But I mean, a 10-run lead here. You just want to get the outs, right? Call strike.
Yeah, with 2 outs here, it's going to be a tough assignment to notch 10 runs and come back in this ball game.
Inside, doesn't get the call from Preston Hughes.
High looping breaking ball from Lacasse. Doesn't get the call, but he's got a good bite on that slider.
Swing and a miss. We said fans might be flipping over to the Kitchener-Welland game, but I mean, if you're watching on your laptop, you could have both windows open and watch both games at the same time, right? You think there were a lot of fans are watching both games at once here? Probably a good chance. Carrington checked his swing. He did not go, says Adam DeCare. 3 balls, 2 strikes, just to make it a little more interesting here for Ryan Lacasse. Lacasse working quickly. Here's the pitch. Fouled at home plate.
Yeah, not sure if there's too much channel flipping going on, as you can just have 2 tabs open. I forgot
Back in the old day, when I was
technology
a kid,
these
you
days.
can only watch 1 game at a time. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lacasse with the pitch. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. I don't want to say that we have a ball game here, but these Toronto Maple Leafs are just not going away.
And still no one warming up in the Baycats bullpen.
Conference on the mound. Tyler Plumpton, the veteran catcher, he knows what to say.
Well, you're 2 grand slams and then 2 more runs away from tying the ball game. But these fans getting antsy here at Vintage Stone Stadium, eagerly awaiting what we hope to be a Baycats first round Game 1 victory.
Mike Cicchetto, a former Baycat, how much do you think he'd love to park one here with the bases loaded? First pitch to him outside. Lacasse really having the plate move around on him here. It has not been the relief performance that I'm sure he had hoped for, despite his team being up comfortably here. Here's the pitch. Again, it bounces up to the plate. Nobody throwing in the Barrie bullpen. It is Ryan Lacasse versus the world.
Well, although Ryan Lacasse has been used multiple times in long relief appearances, this is his 3rd inning of work, that pitch count getting a little bit higher. And with control issues already being a problem, you got to think that maybe his arm's getting a little tired.
And Cicchetto rocks that to left field. It is gone! The former Baycat burns his former team with a grand slam home run in the 9th. And don't look now, but it's 14-8.
And that was Lacasse's 88th pitch of the night. That's what you see from a starter, not a relief pitcher oftentimes. So getting ever closer to 100 pitches, energy and that arm might be becoming a little bit of a problem for Ryan Lacasse on the mound.
Baycats dugouts and fans getting a little bit impatient here, and even though they know their team is going to win this game, it's really unnecessary to give your opponent a little bit of an emotional lift here, and that's what the Leafs are feeling. First pitch, strike to Dan Mara. Mara tonight 1 for 4. You know, you let your opponent get 6 runs in the top of the 9th, even though you're still up by 6, and everything should be okay here. Why let them get fired up? A line drive into the glove of the second baseman, Roy Sando. That is the ball game. Well, it wasn't easy, but Ryan Lacasse gets the job done for the Baycats in relief. They come out to congratulate him on a save here in a 14-8 Baycats victory in Game 1 of this Round 1 playoff series.
Well, Ben, we had to wait a few more batters for the final out of the ball game. But just like you drew it up, a 14-8 victory in Game 1. And the atmosphere, I'm sure we are set up for a fantastic round number 1 between the Maple Leafs and the Baycats in this first round series.
Frank Garces, 6 shutout innings for the win tonight for Barrie. An outstanding game at the plate for Brandon Hernandez. And a solid attack top to bottom through this Baycat lineup, pacing them to a 14-8 win here in Game 1 of this series. For Dylan Quinn, Julius Hearn, and our Baycats TV crew, I'm Ben Davy. We'll see you here on Sunday afternoon for Game 3 of this first round playoff series. Good night from Vintage Throne Stadium in Springwater.